ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
St. Louis City players and coaches will walk the runway for a men's fashion show as part of Gent Men's Fashion Week, Sunday, February 18th, 3 p.m. at City Park. Tim Parker, Edvard Leuven, Joshua Yarrow, and others will showcase looks from the best menswear designers in the Midwest. Tickets are limited, so buy now at stlouisfashionfund.org. Odyssey celebrates St. Louis Fashion Fund's 10th anniversary as its media partner and congratulates them on a decade of advocating for the St. Louis fashion industry.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or them levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, you know, obviously this has been Trump's signature issue, and Joe is there because of Trump. He's always playing catch up. He's always plagiarizing. He's like a coworker who tries to take credit for someone else's work because he didn't do the job. I think the contrast is very stark here between the capable and the incapable. It's the key difference between these two guys. You can hate Trump all you want, but you can't say he's incapable, and you can like Joe all you want and realize he's incapable.
Gutfeld, as usual, saying spot on what the situation was yesterday specifically, but really is like every single day, watching Joe Biden try to be the president and watching Donald Trump, ironically, also try to become the president once again. And it was very obvious that there's this whole ruse that is being put on in front of you, and it's the idea that Joe Biden is actually in command of what is around him and, you know, the country. He's the president of the United States. And yesterday, his visit to Brownsville was more evidence that he's being handled. You watch Donald Trump. Donald Trump is standing at the fence that has razor wire on top of it, accompanied by the governor of Texas. He's standing there, and there are immigrants on the other side of the fence. They're like, Trump! And he's like, hey, yeah, hi, look at you over there. And he's waving back at him, and he turns around and he goes, even they like Trump. And that's a distinct thing that he said there that I found to be very interesting, because he's telling you something there. Like, even they know who I am. I don't know that they really would prefer Trump over Joe Biden, but I think you might have to wait and see. We're going to have these people in our country for generations because we're not going to be able to deport everybody that Joe Biden willfully let into our country. And that's just the way the future is going to be. Joe Biden did that on purpose. And the people running the country behind him did that on purpose. Yesterday, you've heard us play Biden bingo before on the show. Kind of. You don't really hear it. We play it while we listen to the president speak. And my kids have now discovered Biden bingo. So if we're on the way home and President Biden is speaking, I'm getting bombarded. Mom, let me have your phone. Let me have your phone. I want to play Biden bingo. Yesterday, we got our first bingo. I was pretty excited about that. And I'll tell you, the spaces that we filled were look, really mean it, the socialism square, which is the center one. And why is it called socialism? Because it's free. Anyway, and yells. And at the end of the speech yesterday, he was just about to wrap up. He goes, we are the United States of America. And now we all went, yells. And then he goes, I really mean it. And we celebrated in our car in the Chrysler Pacifica like we had won the Super Bowl because we got a bingo. We took a picture and documented the moment. I do. The State of the Union is a week from yesterday, and I think we're going to make some more Biden bingo cards available so that you guys can play with us on that night. That'll get you through it. It really does change the entire game of listening to a President Biden speech. You're actually cheering during the speech because of Biden bingo. So we'll get that out and stay. If you go follow us on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, that's definitely where we'll post the link. The Annie Fry Show Twitter page as well. The YouTube live chat poll for today is: have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? Yes or no? Right before this show started, it stopped me in my tracks. I was sitting in the parking garage watching this unfold. Did you see the truck?
Yes.
Did you see the truck?
Yes.
There is a truck, a semi-truck, which I'm sure right now in Louisville is still hanging over the bridge. I'm pretty sure I've driven over that bridge many times. It is the truck went over the bridge. The cab of the truck is pointing down towards the Ohio River. It is somehow still wedged into the guardrails and at the railings on the edge of the bridge. The truck is plummeting down. If you're in the driver's seat of that truck, you were looking at the Ohio River, which is like concrete, should you plummet into it. And right before the show started, some EMTs and rescuers showed up, rappelled down to the cab of the truck, got this guy out of the truck, and safely lifted him up onto the bridge. And they quit covering it on the national news, so I'm praying that we know that there was only one person in that vehicle, but the driver has been brought back to safety. And, if you're thinking about in that moment where you're looking into the Ohio River that is below you, and, gravity is pretty much undefeated here. You're just counting the seconds, and you don't know if you've got 10 seconds, 100 seconds, or no seconds. You're looking at what's just about to come. I wonder what in that moment you're thinking about. I wonder what in that moment is of concern to you. And I hope that if you were in that moment, that you would be flooded with thoughts of people who you love and who love you. And I think that considering this story, I hope we don't get an update that there is more to it that we haven't heard quite yet. But this story seems to have a happy ending in that the driver was rescued, and the efforts of the first responders was quite heroic. It was really quite something to see. I think it's an interesting opportunity to reflect on that kind of a moment and think about what's important in that moment. I have heard recently multiple people, very high profile people, speak on the lines of Joe Rogan here.
But I think as time rolls on, people are going to understand the need to have some sort of divine structure to things, some sort of belief in the sanctity of love and of truth. And a lot of that comes from religion. A lot of people's moral compass and the guidelines that they've used to follow to live a just and righteous life has come from religion. And unfortunately, a lot of very intelligent people, they dismiss all of the positive aspects of religion because they think that the stories are mere superstitious fairy tales, that they have no place in this modern world, and we're inherently good and your ethics are based on your own moral compass and we all have one. And that's not necessarily true. We need Jesus. I think for real. Like if he came back now, it'd be great. Like Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back
right now,
now's a good time.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah.
Now's a good time.
Joe Rogan's not a known Christian. Joe Rogan is not somebody who has come to the fame that he has. Is the most listened to podcast that exists, I believe. He is not somebody who has spoken a lot about a Christian faith or a faith of any kind. In fact, I believe him to be a pretty professed atheist. When you listen to him here at the end, listen to how he says out loud, I think we need Jesus.
Then, we're inherently good and your ethics are based on your own moral compass and we all have one. And That's not necessarily true. We need Jesus.
His laughter to me is almost one like he's saying it, but he's hearing himself say it. It's almost an out-of-body experience for him to be like, how did I get to here? Like this, I know this might sound really ironic for me to say, presuming that I'm speaking for Joe Rogan, but we need Jesus. You probably expect me to say that. But to hear Joe Rogan say that, if anything, from an entry level, if you're somebody who is on the lines and the walks of a Joe Rogan agnostic, atheistic, I wonder how many people out there, it might not be Jesus for you. It's definitely Jesus for me. But I wonder how many people are looking around right now. The world is on fire in every nook and cranny. You can be close to great conflict pretty much anywhere you go. And I think that one of the scariest things that is addressed by both presidential candidates' trip to the border yesterday, that the biggest fear for many of us is what is boiling under the surface on our own soil, our own earth here in the United States. But the idea that this can't be it. It can't just be about me and my feelings today. And that might be a secular walk for you. Maybe you've peeked around the corner like it sounds like Joe Rogan is doing. Like, what is this Jesus thing? And looking into it. It might be a different walk of faith for you. But at the most bare minimum, and I'm talking from a secular cultural place, the idea that you individually aren't enough, that you need something else, that you will never, ever, ever be fulfilled from within yourself. And like I said, and if you are a frequent flyer on this show, you know that I'm a Christian. I talk about it. I'm not ashamed of it. I try not to beat people over the head with it. I understand that everybody else doesn't walk the same faith walk that I do, and I respect you, and I'm grateful that if you don't and you're here, I appreciate that you are spending time with me, and I want to spend time with you. But we can't get through a society and a culture that is driven only by how many eyeballs are looking at me, how many likes are on my social media or subscribers or whatever it might be. Those things aren't bad, but they become bad when we worship them. If you feel like you don't have a faith or a religion, then chances are you've been told and sold that you are at the epicenter of your religion. We're actually told to worship ourselves, to be in a position where everything that we do and everything that we say, there was a song that Lady Gaga wrote that you were born this way. And then ironically, a few years later, we were told that might be kind of true, but maybe fungible over the course of time. You will never fulfill yourself with yourself. You will need to have a friend. People thrive in healthy families, in family units, in communities where you are in and around like-minded people, not same skin-colored people, not same income kind of people, not even same faith-based kind of people. When you're in community with somebody else, you have the opportunity to grow because you have the opportunity to teach somebody something, but you also have the opportunity to learn. And you might learn from somebody something about them that actually makes you go, well, that made me learn a new thing about me, and this thing that I thought I believe it even more now because I've experienced something else out there, an alternative, whatever it might be. Joe Rogan coming out and saying, in a way that seems shockingly ironic to Joe Rogan, I think we need Jesus. That's a really wild development for me to observe from where I sit. There are other, Russell Brand is another one. He's like, Russell Brand is super into Lent right now. And I know a lot of Catholics and Lutherans and stuff that are passive on Lent right now. But Russell Brand is going head first into the idea of these 40 days. And, Lent is something that's on the church calendar for some people. It's not on the church calendar for everybody. But, Lent isn't part of the theology that punches your ticket to get into heaven. It's part of the story. It's part of the understanding and the experience of what Jesus went through and the temptation he went through and what he sacrificed for us. Because we would never have amounted to what we needed to amount to for our own salvation. That's the Christian walk there. And that is a self-denying walk. You can take that, you can look at it from a religious standpoint, but again, stepping out and looking at it secularly and saying, here are these very high-profile, influential people starting to come into the mainstream and talk about maybe not being so self-aggrandizing, to me is the secular first step to getting back a sense of decency and normalcy and understanding among neighbors. And I could be talking about the person who lives at the address next to your house. It doesn't have to be it could be the person in the cubicle next to you. We are a self-obsessed society, and it is a plague on our society. We are killing ourselves, actively choosing to kill ourselves from within, because you're not allowed to say or to think or to do anything that might insinuate that maybe it's unhealthy to be overweight. Maybe it's, unnatural to have a certain level of anxiety, and that should be something that should be attended to and be addressed. A lot of these things that used to center around the idea of what normal is, they've tried to erase the idea of normal. And maybe what they needed to do is erase the jerks out there who want to treat people who don't fit the societal standard of normal, treat those people with hatred. You can treat people with love and disagree with how they're living, disagree that what they're doing is what's best for them. I've had people do that with me because they're not Christians, or they think that maybe something that I'm doing isn't what's best for me, and we have different principles, we have different priorities in our lives. They care about me. We disagree on the things, but we still care about each other. We forgot in this whole, what is normal and what is abnormal erasure, that we do have to approach all of this with love. And the most ironic thing is that the most aggressive people on these issues use flags that say love and the word love as a way to organize hate. If you are in a semi-truck hanging over a bridge in Louisville, Kentucky, staring at the Ohio River, are you wondering who's going to run for president if Joe Biden drops out? Are you thinking about somebody who's close to you that you wish you would have spoken to? Speak to that person. It's like, if you haven't had a chance to see that rescue, you should go find it, because it will lift your heart and your spirit. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, Brad is going to walk us through what I missed. And Ryan's in here too. You got Wiggins America, the Bee or Not the Bee at 12:45.
We got it ready.
I think the Babylon Bee has been popping something real big this week, and I've read a lot of them.
There's been some really good ones.
And it's so hard not to bring them up.
I'm trying to find ones that maybe you haven't seen, but also get the best of too. So
I was going to say, I'll just pretend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that one was real. That's at 12:45. Brad and what I missed this week when we come back.
And I regret it if I didn't say this isn't what it could be.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Go back to you.
I want to talk to you about Air Comfort Service and how they can continuously keep you in your comfort zone. Of course, if you have some sort of event, furnace isn't working right, it's rattling, it's blowing air, and the air isn't warm, you're going to want to get something, you're going to want to get it seen, and you're going to want to get that fixed. But if you want to avoid things like that creeping up, which oftentimes, if you don't address them on time, they get to be a lot more expensive down the road, you can sign up for a maintenance plan with Air Comfort Service. And when you use an Air Comfort Service maintenance plan, the 12th month is free, which is fantastic. It's incredibly affordable, and it gives you that peace of mind that your comfort zone is going to be there year-round, or in St. Louis, since we have multiple seasons in one day, day-round, to make sure that your heating and your air conditioning units do work the way that they are supposed to. I am a customer of Air Comfort Service many times over, spent a good amount of money investing in the HVAC system in my house through Air Comfort Service, and I stand by it as a customer and as a friend of the people who own it. Wonderful people. ready for your phone call and to earn your business. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. You can reach out to them online as well. aircomfortservice.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
It's time for spring cleaning, and there's no one better to call than our friends at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119. Take $50 off your air duct cleaning and 20% off your upholstery. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and book your appointment today. If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
A people, a state of mind, all in one. It's Wiggins America, and it's every Saturday from 6 to 8 a.m. and Sunday evenings from 5 to 7. So stamp your passport. Wiggins America, 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. Well, my hands are shaky and my knees are weak. I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet. Who do you think of when you have such luck? I'm in love. I'm all shook up.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I'm looking forward to talking to you, Brad and Ryan, both about this because I think I know the answer to this question for you guys. Have you ever been in a life-threatening situation, yes or no? That's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. I would love to hear your story if you want to share it with us, yes or no, if you never faced anything like that. On the Annie Fry YouTube channel, we'd love to have you come vote. The poll shows up right in the live chat of today's live broadcast. Now let's get to what I missed this week.
What did I miss?
What did I miss?
All right, so this is that segment where Annie gets the stuff that falls on the cutting room floor, and I play it for her, and we react to it. So I want to start with the first cut there, Annie, number 14. Have you guys heard what's going on with Carrie Lake and Meghan McCain?
Yeah, they're just slapping it out.
This is amazing.
This is news to me.
So we'll just walk through this audio and we'll tell the story. So go ahead and start with.
As a McCain Republican, I like to think of myself as, and I considered Senator McCain a friend. What changed? When you told me that, and other McCain Republicans, I know Barry touched on it briefly, that we weren't welcome. Why am I welcome now, and what changed?
Is this Bruce speaking?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, first of all, that's not what I said. It was a joke that was said a year before the election when I was taking a nuclear bomb-style incoming of tens of millions of dollars in attack ads from a McCain Republican. And it was said in jest. And I think if John McCain, who had a great sense of humor, would have heard it, he would have laughed.
Okay.
So Meghan, first of all, Carrie Lake had said, I don't want any McCain supports. And Carrie Lake and John McCain's family have been having this ongoing feud because she insulted Meghan McCain's dad. After she went on this radio show with Bruce and Gatos, it's called Outspoken, she tweeted out to Meghan McCain. She's like, hey, can there be a peace between us? And I couldn't find audio of Meghan responding, so I substituted this one. Cut 16.
16?
No.
that was Meghan McCain's response, but that's actually the alien from Independence Day. So Meghan McCain is not having this piece. And then at CPAC, a reporter asked Carrie Lake to respond to that from Meghan, and that's cut number 17.
Ms. Lake, what's your response to Meghan McCain telling you no peace? In response, she said no peace, and then you know the word she used.
Oh, wow. Well, I really do want peace. I do want to come together. I don't want to fight with Americans. There's too much at stake right now.
I don't want to fight with Americans. Quit Carrie Lake.
Wow.
I mean, I just listened to this, and I'm like, what did Carrie Lake expect Meghan would say?
I don't know, but I liked her response there.
Well, she has to have the right response.
She sounded like an adult who's trying to run for office.
Carrie Lake?
Yeah.
She sounds like somebody who's trying to run for office.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, crap, I need these people's votes to
Nobody
win.
who wants peace for real does it on Twitter. Stop it. I mean, I don't think that Carrie Lake is not going to be served by any... She's not going to get people who are John McCain supporters to come over and be like, yeah, maybe we misunderstood you. She's in Arizona. She put the shovel in that hole and dug it herself for the McCain people. And I mean, you could pick your battles. Maybe when she was running for governor, she thought that the situation between those political royal families of sorts, Carrie Lake's not a royal family, but if you want to pick a fight with the McCains, I'm sure that the push there had something to do with the fact that she thought that there was an advantage to doing that. And Carrie Lake didn't have to do that. She didn't have to make it public. And Meghan McCain is a fighter, and she is a defender of her father, exactly the way a daughter should defend their father, which means it's more heart than head. And I don't blame Meghan McCain for defending her father. I think that her father was incredibly detrimental to the Republican Party in dramatically impactful ways. And if you're defending John McCain and you aren't blood related to him, I would like to talk to you about that. Yeah. But if you're Meghan McCain and you're standing, beside your dad, I would do the same thing. And I would do it to my own detriment. And I would shockingly not back down from that. So Carrie Lake needs Meghan McCain and the McCain family and the McCain supporters to support her. You can't be like, oh, it's election year. Let's make peace. Let's do it for the people. I think it's all nasty and ugly, but I don't really blame anybody in that instance.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Meghan McCain should be defending her father. It's her dad, and there were some nasty things said about him, even though he did some nasty things back. But the next clip is from Winsome Sears, and she is probably one of my favorite women in politics, but she created a dust-up in the Virginia Senate.
Which cut?
Cut 18.
The senator may state it. Madam President, how many votes would it take to pass this bill with the emergency clause? That would be 4/5, Senator. And what would be the exact number for that, Madam President? Yes, sir. That would be 32.
Okay, so it sounds innocuous, but then you listen to the first part. That is I believe Virginia's first trans senator, male to female trans senator, and Winsome Sears said, yes, sir, and referred to that, and that person immediately stopped what they were doing and stormed off the Senate floor.
Do we know when this person transitioned?
I don't. I don't know exactly when this person transitioned.
Do we know if Winsome Sears said sir on purpose?
Well, I don't know. I mean, listening to it doesn't sound like she did, but...
What do you want me to play the next one?
Yeah, go ahead and play cut number 19.
I am not here to upset anyone. I am here to do the job that the people of Virginia have called me to do, and that is to treat everyone with respect and dignity. I myself have at times not been afforded that same respect and dignity. But in this body, and as long as I am president of the Senate, and by the grace of God, I will be treated with respect and dignity, and I will treat everyone else with respect and dignity.
So This was after they had to call a recess because they couldn't get the vote in, because the Democrats then jumped on that moment and started an uproar and created a bunch of ruckus on the Senate floor. And Winsome Sears had to come out and basically lay down the law to get everybody under control. And I guess what I'm looking at here is I see somebody who is a strong person, of strong will, and she's like, if you want the respect that you're demanding, then you need to give that respect to other people as well.
I just need to know if she intentionally. She said that she said in that speech there that she gives the respect that she demands. So that to me sounds like she was not intending to disrespect anybody. I can't read her mind. I haven't seen anybody say one way or the other that she was like trying to dunk on this transgender woman, and by calling her sir. But it's something I can't stop thinking of I think it was a Florida city council or whatever, and there's this transgender woman up there, but the transgender woman appears to be early in the transition process. And this person gets done speaking, and then this council board member or something's like, all right, thank you, sir. And she's like, it's ma'am. And then the gif, like, this is the look that I have all the time. He just kind of lifts his eyebrows up and looks at the transgender woman and tilts his head to the side, nods his head once, and goes about his business. Like, it was aggressive and offensive to the transgender woman. He appeared to not mean disrespect by it, but understood that the situation was what it was and decided, let's move on from here. It's a complicated situation for our culture, because we're in a position where whether you agree or disagree with something, you're not in a position to, through your First Amendment, articulate that without being aggressed in a pretty strong way. We don't really have the freedom of thought and the freedom of speech any longer to be disagreeable to somebody and their behavior, because they'll cancel you. And it's everywhere. I mean, it's not like you're just going to go to New York City or Los Angeles to encounter transgender people. Transgender people are all around us. Many people who are listening right now know somebody or have experience with somebody who's transgender. So you have to figure out how to handle this situation with grace, but resolve. It's never okay to treat people with hate.
Yeah.
Bar none.
And that's where most people are, is they're going, you know what, this is an issue that I never, ever in my life have thought about, and now I'm being forced to think about it, and especially in the political sphere. I mean, you talk about in Congress or in a public meeting, it's like people are waiting for those moments to stage a walkout or to be disrespected. But most people, most Americans, I think I speak on behalf of most Americans when I say most people just don't want to. They just want to live. They don't want to really deal with all these issues, and they don't really know how to navigate them. You're not trying to disrespect anybody. You're just going, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. I just please tell me how to get through this, because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that Annie touched on something there that is really lacking in our culture today, and that's grace. You know, we always assume the worst in what somebody else says or what somebody else says about somebody else. And that's kind of the nature of where we've come politically as well as just culturally. And I think we would do well to have more grace. I mean, for the people on the transgender side, you're asking people who their whole life have not had this issue introduced, and offer a little grace, maybe assume not the worst, assume the best in people, assume that it was a mistake, they didn't mean it. If you want to correct them politely initially. The aggressive nature of a correction can escalate a situation. But at the same time, if you made a mistake, apologize for the mistake. I didn't mean to offend you.
That doesn't mean if you say the wrong thing, and when I say wrong, it's wrong in the eyes of the person who is receiving said word, ma'am, sir, whatever it might be. If you unintentionally hurt somebody, you can care about the fact that you unintentionally hurt them. Be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you, without having to put a flag on your house when you get home to atone for your great sin of a misgendered scenario where you weren't intentionally trying to say something mean. I am female. You guys are about 39 minutes delinquent on wishing me a very happy Women's Month.
Oh, wait till the 2 o'clock hour. That's all it is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Celebrating my womanhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Brad, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I
got it all ready
We're
to
not
go.
just making this up right now.
All right, well, you're going to have to celebrate Leah too, so make sure she's involved in that as well.
We were planning on it.
Yes, in a big, big way.
Yep.
Yes, the way men are now supposed to celebrate women. So it should just be you insulting yourself. That's feminism now, right?
That's right.
Just making sure men know their place.
Oh, I can't wait for B or not the B. I got a story that speaks to this.
I'm all excited about it. But I mean, the idea that I have been in scenarios and situations where because I'm a female, I have been treated differently. Because I'm white, I've been treated differently. There are scenarios where you might know what it's like to be older and know that you're being treated differently because you're older. Everybody has a sensitivity to something. Everybody is keenly aware of the things that might rise to the attention level of someone else that they might come to you and criticize you about. And I know people who are not okay with the fact that I am a Christian conservative, that I am somebody who openly, professionally is conservative, and they dislike me for that. I don't dislike them. I'm sorry that that is relationship ending material, but I'm not going to require them to pledge allegiance to me because I am something that they're not. And I understand that they don't agree with the things that I have chosen for my life or the things that I believe are innately inside my person spiritually that lead me to think the things that I think. I don't have the right to go out and push that on somebody else. I'd be happy to sit down and talk with them about it to explain why maybe where I am on what I am is how I am. But I don't get to shove that on someone, and I certainly don't get to accost them or scold them because they haven't aligned with everything that I am. And that is the way it is right now with the transgender movement. It is an incredibly small portion of our society that experiences this. The portion that experiences it as being in relation with somebody, a family member, a friend, a significant other, whatever that is transgender, that circle is a little bit bigger, but it's still a very small amount of people. And we need to treat those people with grace and respect without sacrificing whatever it is that we believe for whatever the reasons we believe. You can't be hateful, you can't be aggressive, you can't be violent, but you can believe differently than they do. And the more casual you are about it, like you said, we're just trying to live our lives and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Not have to feel like every corner you turn, someone's got a spoonful of equity to shove down your throat.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard because you're in a spot now in America where you have to take stands on things that you never in the past had to or wanted to, and you still don't want to. But you almost have to.
And I suggest that you don't have to. You can think in your head and not have to say with your mouth. You can keep that to yourself. It's like your First Amendment right to not speak.
Sure.
All right, let's get to B of the month, the B.
Let's do
so
it.
You have a story that we're waiting on.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan's taking over when we come back. Our favorite segment of the week, the B or not the B. Ryan's going to give us some headlines, and we're going to decide if it's satire or real. And that blurred line in between makes it difficult to determine from time to time. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
So like a volcano that's hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry
I'm
Show.
all shook up.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Is another 2008 financial crisis looming? This is Kevin Demerit for Lear Capital. Just listen to the news. Numbers don't lie. Personal debt is at record highs. Corporate bankruptcies are soaring. Just the interest on our debt will hit $1 trillion this year. Then you have central banks buying record amounts of gold to protect their own assets. They see what's coming and it's a no-brainer. Maybe it's time for you to do the same. Move some of your paper assets into gold because they can't print more gold. It's easy to buy, easy to sell, and it's never been worth zero.
Folks, Kevin Demerit has been spot on about the economy and gold. Call Lear Capital today at 1-800-927-2400 for your free gold investor kit and their 2024 special report, Rising Debt, Rising Gold. Tell them Kevin sent you and you'll also get free shipping on your first order. Call 1-800-927-2400. That's 1-800-927-2400. 1-800-927-2400.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The YouTube live chat poll of the day has to do with if you have been in a life-threatening situation. I got to tell you, it's a yes or no, but we really want to hear the story. If you can kind of condense it to a paragraph, that'd be great, because I think we've all had situations, whether they were really life-threatening or whether they were just scary, and we'd love to hear yours. So let us know. That is the Friday YouTube live chat poll of the day. Have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? It is 12:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where they boot stomp all night. What? That's right. Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get the girl and your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys around here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
The Bee or not the Bee.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are stories that are either satire or real. You have to tell me whether each story that I read to you is real or satire. That's the way it goes. That's the B or not the B. I'm going to start with...
That was like described one way, A to B, and then B to A.
Yeah. Got about halfway through it, realized you need to just kind of circle back and start from the stop.
Okay.
All right, here we go. By the way, happy International Women's Month.
Thank you.
That's not the first time you're going to hear that this month. I'm going to say it pretty much every day.
All right, I hope so.
Starting with this story for that reason.
31 days in this month.
Yep. Here we go. Report. Mansplaining down, but woman confusion up.
What do you think, Leah?
B.
Brad?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a B.
Are we new?
Yeah, we are.
What is going on?
We're not doing a great job.
No, I'm going to say it's the B as well.
It is the B. In great news for everyone, studies have shown that a campaign against mansplaining has had great results, with mansplaining now at a historic low. In unrelated bad news, though, there's been a marked increase in women being extremely confused.
Oh, boy.
And, quote, "It's really confusing," said Tanya Stokes, a woman. I have no idea what's going on. So while women feel better that men aren't constantly talking down to them, women also seem to be experiencing difficulty following the plots of TV shows, understanding the latest current events, and comprehending basic science facts.
Hilarious. Good one. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Happy Women's Month from the Babylon Bee.
Yeah, I didn't think that was funny. I guess I was confused.
Next one. Tell me whether this is the B or not the B. McConnell acknowledges he is no longer fit to be senator, will keep being senator.
Leo, what do you think?
I guess I'll go with not the B.
Brad?
The news is real. The headline is the B.
I think it's not the B.
It is the B.
It is
the B. It is incredibly difficult to acknowledge that I can simply no longer perform the duties of a senator, said McConnell. And so it is with a heavy heart that I announce I will continue being a senator for the next 3 years. McConnell also confessed that he no longer had the capacity to serve as the Republican Party leader, and so would continue doing so until after an incredibly consequential election. There you go. That is the B. Next one. White House to begin referring to illegal aliens as newcomers.
Leah?
Not the B.
Yeah, real.
Real.
It is real. This new speak comes as part of the White House's new fact sheet concerning the immigration bill that Republicans are, quote, sabotaging by not liking what's in it. Quote, the bill also includes $1.4 billion, this is from the White House, for cities and states who are providing critical services to newcomers.
I wonder if they're newcomers if they've already tried this once and got sent back and then they came again.
Yeah.
'Cause that wouldn't really be newcomers.
I don't know that this is specifically delineating anybody in particular, but it's clearly aimed at illegal aliens.
It's just an effort to control the language.
It is.
It's all it is.
It's really amazing how quickly the language changes.
Well,
too.
it was illegal aliens, then it was illegal immigrants, then it was undocumented migrants, then it was just migrants. Now they're going to newcomers.
Yeah, last I checked, it was just migrants, but I guess we're moving on from that now. The minute it becomes negative, they're like, well, we need a new word.
We need a new word.
All right, next one. Shuttered adult bookstores cite fierce competition from school libraries.
Leah?
B.
I'm going to call it real.
Say it again.
Shuttered adult bookstores cite fierce competition from school libraries.
I don't really understand, so I'm going to say it's real.
It's the B.
Okay.
Oh.
It says...
I didn't really understand it either. So.
Well, there's adult bookstores basically saying, well, like, we're closing because there's so much X-rated material
I
in...
completely missed the adult bookstores. I just thought it was bookstores.
No. It says, quote, there's just no keeping up with public school libraries, said Vinnie Plunk, owner of the now defunct Crazy Vinnie's Adult Books and Thoughtful Gifts. Quote, our old die-hard creeps are dying off, and all the young, vibrant creeps are working for the American Library Association and the American Federation of Teachers now. It's sad. Yikes. Plunk shook his head as he boarded up his store, expressing how difficult it was to compete with government institutions that use tax dollars to make smut freely available to all. Next one.
Hooray.
Yeah. It's not good news, but it is satire. Next one. To catch up on today's news, man just reads 2-year-old posts on conspiracy blog.
I mean, it sounds like a satire, but I don't know.
Yeah, B.
Yeah, B.
It is indeed the Babylon Bee. Quote, when I did some research, I realized all the conspiracy theorists were exactly 2 years ahead of the media in reporting the facts, said Bill Roach while pulling up IlluminatiWatch.com and searching old posts for current updates on politics, culture, and international affairs. Quote, this is so much easier than looking at CNN and Fox News. Trusted experts confirm that the last several years have proven conspiracy theorists to be 100% accurate on every claim they've made in that time. The experts then also confirmed that everyone should ignore that confirmation and proceed as if nothing happened. Quote, we urge you to continue to get your news from trusted sources and avoid conspiracy theories, even though the trusted sources are always wrong, said media researcher Dr. Franz Brugman. Trusting trusted sources is what makes you a good person. And that's all that really matters here.
My gosh. I like how they just come up with the random names.
Yeah,
Dr. Francis
yeah.
Brugman.
Yeah, we just whatever.
What was the other guy? Vinny what?
Plunk.
Vinny Plunk. Yeah. All right. I got 2 left here. Here we go. San Francisco formally apologizes to black residents for being racist.
Oh, that sounds legit.
Yeah, that sounds real.
It is real. This is real. But it's amazing because it's San Francisco apologizing on their own behalf for being racist. In a historic move on Tuesday, all 11 members of the city's Board of Supervisors unanimously voted to adopt a resolution to apologize to black residents and commit the rectification and redress of past policies and misdeeds of San Francisco. So they're sort of like condemning themselves here. During the meeting, Supervisor Shaman Walton thanked the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, which develops recommendations for repairing harm in black communities, and noted, quote, we have much more work to do, but this apology most certainly is an important step. All right. Last one. Let me know whether this is the B or not the B. ballot drop boxes installed along border wall.
B, saw it.
I'm going with Annie then. She saw it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
No, it was real, you guys. No, you're right. It's the B.
Check the news stories 2 years later.
2 years later, yeah.
it'll be-
In 2026, we'll see.
That's why Biden's adding onto the border.
Yeah. Quote, I'm not sure where these ballot drop boxes came from, Brownsville resident Tom Walker told reporters. Some around town think it has something to do with the President Biden's visit to the border. I saw some of his folks down handing out mail-in ballots to these illegal guys who keep coming into town. Makes a person wonder what's up. And then, quote, this isn't some crazy ploy to rig the election in favor of President Biden by handing out ballots to the millions of illegal aliens that have been streaming into the country over the past 3 years, Biden spokesperson Alexander Shepard told the press. On a completely unrelated note, does anyone know how to say President Biden will give you a prepaid $10,000 Visa cash card if you vote for him in Spanish?
The last Babylon Bee article that I saw, I shared this on Annie Fry Show Twitter page. Biden visits border to cut ribbon for official border grand opening.
Yes.
Found that one to be pretty funny. Let's take a quick break. A lot more to talk about in the next hour. We're going to hit that YouTube live chat poll discussion. Have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? Yes or no? Want to know what you think? You can share your story with us. You don't have to share it, but come vote and let us know on the YouTube channel, yes or no, if you've ever faced a life-threatening situation. We'll talk about our answers to that question when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back, a spit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now, girl.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Every year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many result in serious injury. The majority of falls happen at home, so take a look around. Replace bulbs and add lighting to help you see obstacles. Remove things that can make you trip. Fix uneven steps and floors, and install handrails in bathrooms and on stairs. Consider balance or strength training exercises, which can help with agility. Get your eyes and hearing checked regularly. Changes in your hearing can affect your balance. To learn more, please talk to your doctor about steps you can take to help prevent a fall. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or MedicareMadeClear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Closing arguments over misconduct claims. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Attorneys for former President Trump and other defendants in a Georgia election interference case are trying to convince a judge to kick prosecutors off the case after Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade admitted they had a relationship. Fox's chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream.
This is starkly different than what we saw a couple of weeks ago when you had both Wade and Willis on the stand under oath saying this started after I hired him. We always split these expenses. There's nothing to see here. These allegations are nothing but a political witch hunt against us as we're trying to prosecute people that we argue tried to overturn the 2020 election. But since then, we've had all kinds of new cellular data and text and testimony that paint a very different picture, which now asks the question about whether these two may have potentially perjured themselves.
If either Wade or Willis are disqualified, it could delay that case. The two largest U.S. pharmacy chains will start selling abortion pills in several states.
CVS and Walgreens say they have been given certification by the FDA to dispense the abortion pill mifepristone this month. They say they plan to make the drug available in a handful of states at first, and patients must have a prescription for it. CVS will sell it in its pharmacies in Massachusetts and Rhode Island in the coming weeks, while Walgreens will make it available in the next week in some stores in New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, California, and Illinois. Both chains say they will not provide it by mail.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. President Biden says this marks an important milestone in ensuring access to the drug, even as a legal fight continues over the FDA's approval of it more than 20 years ago. Federal health officials no longer recommending 5 days of isolation if you test positive for COVID. The CDC's new guidance says fever-free for a day and improving symptoms is enough to return to regular activities. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our southern system is long gone. We've got partly sunny skies for this afternoon, though it's a little bit chilly, 49 for the high. Tonight, mostly clear, 35. But no chilly for the weekend. It's all about springtime. Saturday will be kind of cold first thing in the morning, but sunny skies Saturday and 69 degrees, 52 Saturday night, and Sunday sunny and up to 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
SLU men's basketball is back on 97.1 this weekend. It's an Atlantic 10 conference matchup. SLU men's basketball. Tune in Saturday for SLU versus Rhode Island on 97.1 FM Talk.
Marie, is that you?
Oh, hi Barb. How you doing?
Better now. Did you know we had a little health scare with Jeff?
Oh no, what happened?
Well, he had been short of breath and was really tired a lot of the time. He just thought he was getting old and was out of shape, but it turns out it was heart valve disease.
How did you figure it out?
He finally went to the doctor, and she was able to listen to his heart and detected the problem. I didn't realize it, but heart valve disease is more common than you'd think. They were able to replace the valve, and he's feeling so much better now.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with heart valve disease every year, but most people know nothing about the condition, and it can be deadly if untreated. That's why it's important to listen to your heart and ask your doctor if your symptoms may be due to heart valve disease or if you're at high risk. A message brought to you by Heart Valve Voice US. For more information about the symptoms and treatments for valve disease, go to heartvalvevoice-us.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
It's Mark Cox. Join me on the Amalfi Coast of Italy next spring. Southern Italy, the Abbey of Monte Cassino. It may be Italy's best-kept secret. Apulia, Caserta, Sorrento, Pompeii, Positano, Rome. We're going to see it all through our friends at Conservative Tours. That's conservativetours.com. $53.67 per person. That includes your airfare. Join me next spring on the Amalfi Coast. Go to conservativetours.com.
McKelvey Homes is offering up to $100,000 savings on their designer market homes and special McKelvey financing of 5.99%, 30-year fixed, or 4.875% in first year with our 2-1 buydown. At Inverness at Bryan and Feisey, we have our luxurious LaSalle display home for sale. This professionally decorated ranch is loaded with all the most popular features. Hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today for a complete listing.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I'm so happy that you are here today on this Friday afternoon. We appreciate you, and we're glad that you're spending some of your afternoon here with us. There's the Funny Willis trial is closing up shop, I think, here in Fulton County, Georgia. They're giving closing arguments. I don't think that on a Friday afternoon you want to listen to those in full. So we're watching to see if any story comes out of that, any headline comes out of that, and we've got our finger on that. The YouTube live chat poll for today is: have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? Yes or no? I talked a little bit earlier in the show about an incident that took place in Louisville just before the show started. There was a semi-truck that was driving over a bridge, and it had careened off the bridge, and it was wedged in a way that the trailer was still attached to the bridge, but the cab of the semi-trailer was off the bridge, dangling over the Ohio River. First responders, EMTs, the whole 9 yards show up. They rappel down and rescue this guy out of the cab of his car. And I was sitting in my car watching all of this unfold because I was listening to Fox News, and then they started describing this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to look at this. I have to see this. And it was hold your breath type of stuff. Because the guy who rappelled down gets the guy out. They're wrapped up together. I assume that there's some sort of harness or something that he strapped himself into as much as you could in that situation, but one wrong move and the whole thing could dislodge. You don't know how much support is left in a semi-truck hanging off the side of a bridge, but what a scary, scary situation for that truck driver that ended up with him being able to put his feet back on that bridge, being saved by the first responders that showed up. So we want to know from you, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? I probably have been in more than one life-threatening situation, but the number one I can think of is when I was a 7th grader. We were driving up. It was, I I guess it would have been 1997. And is this my chair? Is this my normal chair? It would have been 1997, and we were driving from Madison County up to Chicago for the Lutheran High State basketball tournament. I was playing in the state basketball tournament for the Lutheran grade school that I went to. And when we were driving up there, we got into a car accident. An animal ran out in front of us. For the record, hit the animal. Don't swerve. We swerved. And our van went to the right. The overcorrection to get back onto the highway popped both left tires. And we rolled the Ford Aerostar van that we were in. Some of the truck drivers who had stopped to help us afterwards said we rolled, I think, 5 to 8 times.
Whew.
And my whole family was in there, and my whole family survived. We all had our seatbelts on. In the 90s, we didn't all wear our seatbelts all the time. In fact, we would go on vacations, and we would remove from the middle row in the van the middle bench and leave it at home and just spread out blankets on the floor. So if we were driving to Florida or Myrtle Beach or something like that, that you would just lay on the ground, you'd play your Game Boy, you'd take naps. That's just wild to me. And it was not uncommon. People talk about lying in the back of a station wagon and looking.
Yeah, we did that exact thing.
Yeah. It
Laid
just
in
was
the
a
back of the
different time.
station wagon. Yep.
But we rolled the vehicle. I have a scar on my head from, it's probably about 1.5 inches long, right on the top of my head from where my head made impact with the hanger, little notch thing that was on there. So when we turned over, my head hit it, and the screw on that thing sliced my head open. And that was it. That was the extent of my injuries. There were cuts, bruises. We were so sore afterwards. I have some legitimate, like actual real PTSD, especially afterwards. It was hard to get back in a vehicle. I remember getting into the ambulance and looking up on the side of the ambulance, and on the wall was like all of these surgical scissors, scalpel, like all this stuff was up there. And as you're moving, they would kind of move because they were like hooked up there. And the last vehicle I was just in had just spun in a bunch of rolling circles. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happens if we do that in this car?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember going into the emergency room, and I like being on the stretcher going in and just seeing like the tiles on the ceiling because I was in a neck brace, couldn't move my neck. And I remember the first responders being there and taking care of us, and we were all, you're in absolute total shock. But I mean, man, God put his hands around my family that day, and we all lived to tell about it. There wasn't a broken bone, let alone a life lost or anything. My parents said that when they went back to, you can go, find the vehicle at the junkyard to see if there's anything still in the vehicle that you want to claim. And they said that where I was sitting, they could see on the clothes hanger hook that my hair had wrapped around that. So when my head had hit it, it pulled out some of my hair.
Oh, wow.
Which is how we knew where I had hit my head.
Right. Wow. Yeah, those are just crazy stories. I have an accident one too, but honestly, the first thing, I use the word honestly. The first thing I thought of when I read the question, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? It wasn't one of those big, oh my gosh moments. It was a very slow progression for me of cystic fibrosis when I was in my mid-20s to late 20s, and it was the life-threatening situation.
Let me ask you an ignorant question. When you were born, did you know you had CF?
So I was born in 81. There was the everybody who's old enough. 1881.
Yeah.
Everybody who's old enough remembers the big snow of 82.
Yeah.
I don't, because I was 2 months old or whatever. But that snow trapped me in the hospital in Granite City. I think it was Granite City. I don't know. This is what I'm told. Because I think I was trapped in the hospital for a number of extra weeks because they were already like, something's up with this kid. They had to do a bunch more tests. And because I was in the hospital longer, they were able to keep me longer and figure out, oh, this kid's got cystic fibrosis. Because at the time, it was a lot tougher to find out. Now you can do genetic testing. Back then, they basically had to do sweat tests.
You would know in utero now.
I think you can know. I don't know if you will know right away, but you can if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was not I couldn't gain weight as a baby. So they were trying to figure out why. And they eventually determined it must be cystic fibrosis. But it wasn't until I was older, in my mid-20s, that I started to be, so I was in a sketch comedy group in my mid-20s. And I remember traveling to Chicago to shoot some sketches that I had written, thinking this might be the last time I get to do this.
Wow.
Because it was getting pretty bad where I couldn't, and you'll hear me even here, I'll be talking and I got to stop, clear my throat. It just happens. But I'm so much better now.
Went over real well during COVID.
Oh my gosh. I'm not kidding. I almost said honestly again.
Honestly.
I almost got a shirt that said, it's not COVID, it's cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to not have to tell everybody I'm not contagious, because CF is not contagious at all. It's genetic. So there's nothing I can do about it. But they did, right at that time in my mid-20s when it was written really bad, an amazing medicine didn't even come out to market. It was being tested. And so this is like part of my life testimony, is that they did a trial of that medicine. Unbelievably, one of the cities they picked was St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievably, I qualified for it, which is not everybody. I mean, the CF population is not small. Compared to the population of the United States, it's small. But it is still a pretty big population as far as a disease goes. So you had to qualify for the study. Then, once you got in the study, it was double blind. So there was a high likelihood that you would be on a placebo. I knew from the first day I got on that thing, I'm like, nope, I'm not on the placebo. And the doctors even told me, you can't tell us that. We're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
And in fact, you don't actually know, but I could tell just from getting on the medicine instantly that I had energy and things were different. And that was my mid-20s, and it was such a godsend. And by the way, only at that time, 5% of the CF population could qualify for that medicine. Now they keep adding more and more percentage to where I think it's up to about 70 to 80% of the CF population.
Are you comfortable saying what the medicine is?
Yeah, it's called Kalydeco, but it's the drug that affects everybody, like the whole population, is called ivacaftor. And it was such a breakthrough for the CF world that I got to be a part of that very first one. And it was so amazing because I really don't know if I would have been here if I hadn't been a part of that first one, or I might have had such damage to my lungs by the time we got there that I don't know if I could be doing this.
Other than the like mucus buildup in the lung issues, do you have things right now? It compromises your immune system, right?
Yes.
So other than that,
it just makes it harder to get over colds and stuff.
Is there anything else that you're dealing with now that is part of CF other than that?
Not really. I mean, it affects, it mainly affects your lungs and your mucus. It also affects your digestion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to take pills with almost anything I eat, except for sugar. Isn't that funny? So I digest sugar real well. And vegetables, which I'm like, who cares about those?
Yeah.
But
vegetables taste like sad.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just avoid them because I'm a happy kind of guy. But I do have to take pills with almost everything I eat. That's the other main side effect of CF.
Mm. Yeah, that story is such an amazing story that you were blessed in that way. And honestly, after you do a medical test like that, all the people who follow who are blessed because of the study that you were able to participate in. Leah's in here. Leah, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation?
Well, when you asked me this in the private chat, I said not a normal or specific one, but similar to Ryan, it's kind of like a medical thing. So I have, I guess the actual term is epilepsy. It's characterized as I have stress seizures. So I've had them since I was 17. I don't know what caused them. We think some concussions I got in my sports caused them, but basically when I get really, really stressed, when I sleep, I have seizures, or I can have a seizure. So I said, not a specific life-threatening situation, but every time I have a seizure technically is a life-threatening situation. Yeah, situation, because, I mean, those can kill you. You might not come out of it. So, I mean, thankfully I have every time, but so that's my life.
That's why she has to manage her stress and why she's so healthy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I take such good care of myself.
Well, it is important. And I mean, I know, Ryan, you've
I'm a picture of healthy.
Yes. Yes. Brad, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation?
Yeah. I mean, from car accidents to almost drowning to, I mean, the big one's the heart attack. The first heart attack really was the one that I didn't really realize. This is the thing with mine. It's like you were talking about that person hanging over, looking down at the water of the Ohio River, and like they're waiting to be rescued.
Or die.
And most of the situations that I've been in, whether it was my life that was being threatened or if I was in the proximity and trying to help somebody with their life, I didn't have time to stop and think about it. But save for that heart attack. The thing about the heart attack that was so strange and you were talking about remembering riding in the ambulance. I remember the ambulance ride. I woke up at like 3 a.m. with this horrible pain. And I would say, if you're sitting at home, you're like, I wonder what a heart attack feels like. For me, it was like it just below or where your collarbones come together, right there. It felt like there was an alien chest burster trying to push out of my chest. It hurt so incredibly bad. So I woke up. I thought it was gas. I tried to burp. I tried to do some other things, and I woke my wife up. And the only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "I need help." That's all I could say. And so she called 911. 911 showed up with an ambulance. They're like, it's probably just stress. I get in the ambulance. I'm sitting there, and I was doing everything that I could. I wasn't nervous, but I was just trying to do anything that I could to take my mind off of how bad it hurt. So I was looking, trying to guess where the ambulance was on the road, which hospital was I going to, all of this other stuff. And I remember the inside of the ambulance. I remember it being very bright inside, but very dark outside. People just kept tapping me and saying, "We're here to help you." I'm like, I know, I'm trying to be calm for you. I'm going to be completely cooperative. I remember going into the hospital and them saying, "We called it already." And I looked up at the person wheeling me in and I said, "Called what? I'm still here." And they're like, no, it's a heart attack.
Oh, man.
Oh. You're like, hey!
Wait a minute. I can hear you.
And I wasn't laying flat on a stretcher. I was in a wheelchair. I'm like, guys,
yeah.
I'm still here. So that was what that was.
He called it.
When they put you under to put a heart cath on, they drug you, but they don't put you all the way out. So I was awake for the entire procedure.
No, thank you.
I remember.
Do they need you to be awake?
Yes, because they need to talk to you and ask you, do you feel that? What do you feel now? And so they would do something. They would go and try to get the little balloon in to expand it, the angioplasty, and I could feel them expand it, and that felt like another heart attack. It would just hit so hard. And I would tense up, and they're like, "We're just trying to help." I'm like, "I'm not going anywhere. That hurts." And they're like, "Okay." The doctor would be like, "That's me." And so I remember going through all that. But the whole time, I was never really thinking, oh, I could die. I was just like, what is the next thing that I need to do?
Did you think about it afterwards?
Yes, a lot. It's like, wow, that was really serious and that was really bad. I could have died. So that is my biggest, life-threatening experience. And
you made a physical change in your life after that. Did that change your mindset?
No. Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess it would. I wouldn't say from a spiritual standpoint. I was already involved in church, and I was a Christian at the point. And I think that's where I would explain that peace that came over me during that moment. But just looking at life, it made me enjoy every moment. It's like just whatever it is, just live in that moment and enjoy that. And then whatever the next one's going to be is going to be. I learned that I can't prepare for everything. I can't be in charge of everything. But I do know that I am in a position where God has got me and I don't have to worry about what might be because whatever it is, it's His will and it will be done and it will work to the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purposes.
Well, I should also mention Brad's a pastor. Brad is also a pastor. We want to hear your stories. There's a lot of them that are coming in right now. We also have an Ask Me Anything coming up next. So please send your questions to us on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat. Chris said, yes, I almost died in a hotel room in San Diego, was there for business and got really sick to where I had sepsis, barely made it to the lobby for them to call an ambulance. Our friend Wavy said, I had two that I'll share. Number one, driving down I-64 and almost had a head-on with a wrong-way driver. Did a split-second lane change. And second, he tangled with an 18-wheeler, totaled the car, but wasn't hurt. We'd love to hear from you and your story. And, of course, if you have ever been in a life-threatening situation and you're here to talk to us about it, we're happy that you are. And we can share your story as well. Ask us anything. We come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Everybody wants a thrill, paying
want to talk to you about Michael's Flooring Outlet this weekend. I want you to check them out in store, but you can look them up right now online. The website is igotfloored.com. When you visit igotfloored.com, you're going to be able to look through their catalog of flooring right now. You can also, it shows you on the front of the website at igotfloored.com, march into the season with new flooring, order 3 samples. They've got a code on there that you can use to get those samples sent to you free today. When you work with the people at Michael's Flooring Outlet, you can ask them the questions that you might have if you're brand new to the process of thinking about the floor replacement for your home. Yes, they also do commercial replacements as well. You can ask them about different technology that exists in different types of hardwood floor, if that's what you're looking at. Maybe you're going to try to do something like vinyl or laminate. Maybe you want hardwood. Maybe you want the Techwood Plus line of flooring. Maybe you don't know about what your options are. You're like, I kind of want it to look like this. And then you show them a picture that you saw on Instagram. And then they help guide you to what your options are to get that aesthetic that you're looking for. Those 3 locations across the St. Louis area will be open and excited to see you this weekend. You can visit them in St. Charles County on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. Also in West County on Olive Boulevard, just a mile off 270 West. Right there on Olive, and in Darting Prairie. Or, like I said, start the whole shopping process for your flooring at Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com.
It's time for spring cleaning, and there's no one better to call than our friends at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119. Take $50 off your air duct cleaning and 20% off your upholstery. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and book your appointment today.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Attorney General Andrew Bailey.
The Planned Parenthood has consistently and repeatedly demonstrated a refusal to comply with state statutes. This is not an isolated incident. This is a lawless hold of death.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
You have to ask me nicely.
Don't make me beg here.
Ask me anything.
Tell me the truth! Happy Friday. We are going to do a little Ask Us Anything here. You can send us your questions on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Come join us there and just post them in the live chat. Ryan's got our first question. What do you want to know?
All right. Is there anything that you are... This is a great question for Leah because she'll be like, nope.
Okay, we'll start with Leah.
Here we go.
Is there anything that you are too old to do, but you haven't allowed yourself to believe that yet? You still either think you can do it or you want to do it, but you're just too old to do it.
So something that you've aged out of?
Kinda, yeah.
But you still want to do it?
But you still, yeah, it's something you
haven't given it
still
up yet.
either like to try to do or you wish you could still do it, but you just can't.
All right, youngin'.
Yeah,
Leah.
don't start with me, actually. I don't know.
I figured you were going to be like, no.
Is there something that you have, Ryan?
There is one thing in particular, of course, which is why I asked the question.
I figured.
It's called, I think in St. Louis, it's called Demolition Ball.
Oh. They got rid of the one. There was one by my house, yeah.
What is this?
So in Chicago, it's called Whirly Ball. In St. Louis, I believe it's called Demolition Ball. Same sport, though. It is a bumper car sport.
Yes.
That you get in your own bumper car, and it's basically a basketball court, but with like a hockey rink style boards, and you have a scoop.
18 North Central.
Did they do that there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I really, really like doing it.
Have you ever done it?
Yes, but last time I did it was my 30th birthday party. And ever since then, I've wanted to still do it.
How do you age out of that?
Yeah. Maybe that's what. Maybe they told him he wasn't allowed to come back, and they're like, "Why? You're too old."
Spit it out, Joe Biden.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a group of guy friends who would normally be the guys I would go do that with. Half of them now say I can't because of my back.
Oh.
So I don't know whether I can or not.
You didn't age out. Your friends did.
Maybe, but I might have aged out too.
You just stretch and take ibuprofen beforehand, like before everything else you do.
I'm with you, but I can't find. Maybe we do it as a show.
That's where we can go to 18 North Central. I can figure out how to make that work.
Yes.
Guys against girls.
Have you done their? I'll take that bet. Have you done their like adult laser tag?
No, and I know that we've done
It's
events
tactical.
there. No, I haven't done it.
I love it.
I took Charlie's, not for his birthday. It was his 13th birthday, but we did it in like February last year or something like that. So it was maybe 15 to 20, 13, 14-year-old boys in tactical laser tag.
Oh my gosh.
And I said to him, it wasn't cheap to pay for all of those myself, but I told my son, I'm like, you better be the coolest person at school after this is done.
No kidding.
And he was. They all loved it. So,
man, is there a more fun thing to do for a 13-year-old boy than go into a laser tag
tactical
arena?
laser tag.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
not like, pew pew, bright purple, pink, and green lights all over the place. It's like you are in Fallujah.
Now, have you guys ever done paintball? Like
Oh,
real
yeah.
paintball?
Oh, yeah.
No?
Not interested in that.
I've got my own paintball gun.
That's another thing that I have not done for years, but man, when
Yeah,
I
same.
did it, it was so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Brad, do you have something that you've aged out of, but you still want to do?
Yes, it's playing video games. I used to play video games to win. I was about wrecking people's shop, and now I go in and I get my shop wrecked by people that are
When
like.
you do the recap of this video, Leah, will you just put subtitles for the rest of us to understand what Brad's talking about here?
Yeah,
For
cut
us
to
old
AI
people. Yeah.
saying,
Sure.
I used to win a lot.
Wreck people up, mess people up.
Win.
You still play.
I still play, but man, the kids are just so good at these games that I don't even know what I'm doing whenever I try to play competitively. So I don't play ranked or anything like that. I just play casually and have fun.
That is so sad.
It is.
People like Leah probably school you.
Oh, I think I'd wreck
I
her shop.
don't play video games, so
I would be remiss if I didn't say go to Disney World, because I'm sure most people would think that and judge me for that, and I don't care.
That's something you're having trouble doing?
No.
No, okay.
The thing about going to Disney World as an adult, there are Disney adults, which non-Disney World people would absolutely consider me a Disney adult. But I go to Disney World and I'm like, no, those are the Disney adults. Like, it's a different level of experience. There are things there for everybody, for all ages. And if you go as a grown-up and enjoy yourself, most of the time it's because of the people you're enjoying it with. And that's the important part to me, but there are also plenty of things there that you can enjoy. Well, we went as grown-ups last year.
Yeah, we
and
were Disney adults. Would you consider somebody who poses in front of something like the Epcot ball with their fanny pack and
their
lifts
belly
their
hanging
arms
out?
and their bellies hanging out? Would that be a Disney adult?
You're an adult at Disney.
Well, let me put it to you this way. If I would have seen you doing it and not known you, 100%.
Since we brought up the D word, I have a question for you guys. Which Disney character do you relate to the most?
Jiminy Cricket.
What? Why?
You?
No. Flesh that out.
It's personal.
Okay, and then if I have to explain, then I'm going to change it. Pinocchio. Because
You're a liar.
You're made of wood.
Everybody can tell when you were lying.
It's true. But no, I would say Pinocchio because
Who's your
I've
Geppetto?
always wanted to be a real boy.
I've
never been into trucks. I've never been into the boy stuff. So I want to be a real boy.
You were into girl stuff?
No, not that.
Oh.
Just other stuff.
He was a theater kid.
I don't know. I wasn't a theater kid either. I made fun of those kids too.
What about you, Leah?
Tonight, Ryan's going to think about this moment and be like, that could have been better.
He's gonna go back and
Should have just stuck with the Jiminy Cricket.
in the shower
okay.
thinking of
Leah,
things.
do you have
Can you dump the last couple minutes?
Yeah.
And go back to Jiminy Cricket?
Leah,
No.
Disney character you relate to?
I don't know, because I didn't really grow up with the traditional Disney, like watching all the princesses and, I mean, I watch like Disney Pixar, but I know to some people that doesn't count. So
It's Disney.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It counts
sometimes it offends
for
people.
this exercise.
Because when I mention Pixar, they're like, "That's not real Disney," and I'm
Sounds like you're talking about a specific person in your
I don't
life.
know.
Let's just call her by name. Her name is Marsha. And she's bullied me.
So I'm gonna say no. I don't relate to anybody, but I didn't really grow up with the traditional Disney. So,
Brad,
Mine's Mr. Incredible.
I just
Excellent
yes,
job.
because if
Very
you
good
stop
job.
and think about it, because Mr. Incredible.
Wait, if you stop and think about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm not calling myself incredible.
No.
Yes, you are.
You are incredible.
It's that he comes to that point in his life where it's like his body's like, I think about him doing the exercises and he laughs and he's like, ha ha ha, and then his back's like, and then he's like, oh. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life. I'm realizing that I'm getting older and I can't do all the stuff that I did when I was younger, but I can still do some awesome stuff for an old man. So,
this is a very easy answer for me. Beauty and the Beast, best movie of my childhood. Belle, amazing, feminist before her time. In the first song where she's singing the song about there's something more to this provincial life. The character in Disney movies I relate to most is the woman in the background who goes, "I need 6 eggs!" And she's panicking because she needs eggs to feed her family, and she's trying to do everything she can, and she just is in a constant state of panic, trying to do what she needs to do to get her family. I'm 6 eggs, lady.
Okay.
Jiminy. Cricket.
Any other-
Pinocchio.
Leah, do you
Okay,
have a
Mike,
que-
I have a question. What gives you more peace and what gives you more anxiety thinking about the future or the past?
Oh no, it's Pinocchio because I've got no strings to hold me down.
I've got no strings to hold me down.
See, that was what I should
So
have said.
you were more stressed about the past.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some things, most of them today, that I regret.
Yeah, like in the immediate past.
Yeah, real recent.
This segment. Past or future, what gives you more peace and which gives you more stress, anxiety?
Future gives me more stress because it's not done, and you feel like you've got some control over it. So I would say the past gives me more peace just because of that. Just because of the very nature of one being done, the other not.
Leah?
I would say the same. You know, I've had a rough past, but you look at it and you're like, well, if it weren't for that past, I wouldn't be here. So you kind of have peace with that. But similar to him, I look at the future and you look at where the world is right now and where it might be headed, and it's just like, that's stressful.
I'm going to agree with them, but I'm going to say looking back at my past gives me peace toward the future. I look back at what things...
Brad only has peace.
Yeah.
What I went through...
You know why? Because he's incredible.
Yeah. What I went through in my past, I saw that I was able to get through it. I was helped through it. I have people around me. I have faith. I have all of that other stuff. And I can look back on my past as an example and promise toward the future at whatever may come that I don't know about, that I still have that same support group and that I'm going to be okay come what may.
Yeah, I get breathless sometimes thinking about the future and just, I'm 39, going to be 40 in April. It's kind of that one of those big numbers that you turn that I think causes everything to come into focus all at one time, and it kind of moves you back like, whoa, this is too much at one point. We've talked about this before, Ryan, but when you are 40, it's like you have as much past as you have future. And you're kind of I know I'm talking about over the hill and stuff, so I'm not trying to make light about it, but you kind of hope that by the time you're 40, you've done the big things and they're progressing and you are moving into reaping the benefits of the things that you've done having played out over time. And it's weird to look to the next thing, and sometimes it's like the next things that happen after you're 40, like the big life-changing things are not really positive things. It's a series of endings that continues to happen after that. And it's difficult for me. I'm praying for peace to like manage that shift a little bit, because I also hear people, especially when you get in your 50s, people once your kids get out of the house or whatever, being in the moment of those kids leaving the house is very heavy and weighted. But then you kind of get on the other side, you're like, okay, this is the new thing. I always forget that there are beginnings with endings. So, but I look at my past and I want to hold on tight to it. So.
Yeah, I'm going to live till 87, so I'm not over the hill yet.
Well, I didn't know the
That's
exact
very specific
number.
Well, at least 87.
Oh.
I could live till 140, depending on the
You
technology.
could serve 2 terms as president before you got done with that.
Yeah, I'm going to run at 100.
Let's go. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
Attention contractors, it's Andrea and Scott at Best Buy Flooring. We've joined forces with Carpet for Less to open a location in South County.
Visítenos para todas sus necesidades de pisos, como tablones de vinilo, láminas de vinilo, laminados y una gran selección de carpeta.
Celebrate our grand opening. Buy 1 square foot of in-stock hardwood at $2.99. Get 1 square foot free.
Sí, compre un pie de madera dura en stock y obtenga un pie cuadrado gratis.
Come see us at 13520 Tesson Ferry Road or anytime in Hazelwood, Missouri or O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
We've been talking about it. We want to hear your story. Have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? Yes or no? We're also sharing your stories kind of throughout the day here. We will do that more maybe in the next segment. We'll certainly give the results of the poll and more stories at about 2:45. Stick around. X's and O's coming up at 2 o'clock. But right now, we want to know, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? Yes or no? It's the Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day. It is 1:42. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Whatever happens next happens here. Your trusted voice for 23 years. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around. And the rumpus and ruckus are comfortable now. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow. So I got an apartment across from the park. Put quinoa in my fridge, still I'm not feeling grown. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to go.
Here we go.
So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come hang, let's go out with a bang. I'm way too young to lie here forever. I'm way too old to try, so whatever, come hang.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Feel like I'm gonna puke, cause my taxes are due. Do my password begin with a 1 or a 2? Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. This immunity case being picked up by the Supreme Court is turning some of the leading leftist voices inside out. Have you seen some of these reactions?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've seen all of them, but
who have you seen that, off the top of your head, that is not doing well?
Okay, the person I saw, I don't know his name, but he was on MSNBC, and he had very white hair and glasses. I don't know who he was, but he was losing it. That's the main one I've seen. And I mean, he was saying stuff that you go, dude, you're not supposed to say. You're like talking about overthrowing the government because you're so mad about this on the news.
Here's Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, the Supreme Court won't hear oral arguments until the end of April. Now, let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything. Yeah. You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa.
She's getting a little too excited here.
She doesn't even know what she's talking about.
Well, just wait.
He could throw every Republican in jail.
No.
Yeah. I mean, he could. I mean, no. This is not a good thing. He can go. What this means is he could do anything.
Yeah.
He could dismiss everybody's debt.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole bunch of great stuff that could happen, but let's really look at what this means.
It's like she's shopping.
Yeah, walking down the aisle.
Whoopi's
this
not
looks
okay.
nice.
The thing that blew my mind is the people in the crowd. He could put every Republican in jail. There's like 5. Yeah, oh.
Whoopi turns around. She's like, oh. She puts her hand up like, don't clap for that. Whoopi's not okay. Let's listen to Keith Olbermann.
Conservatives on the Supreme Court are Trump's whores. Chief Justice Roberts is a Trump whore and he can burn in hell. And Justice Alito is a Trump whore and he can burn in hell. And Justice Gorsuch is a self-contradicting Trump whore and he can burn in hell. And Justice Kavanaugh is a drunken abuser Trump whore and he can burn in hell. And Justice Barrett is a handmaid Trump whore and she can burn in hell. They are corrupt.
Wow.
They have corrupted the Supreme Court. We will have to remove them from the Supreme Court or create a replacement for the Supreme Court.
You guys, if Donald Trump wins in November, it's going to be the most fun thing to cover in the history of time.
Oh, man, you're getting me a little bit worried. Because hearing these clips, I mean, Keith Olbermann and Whoopi Goldberg are some of the crazies, but these people are Keith Olbermann is calling for overthrowing the government. And people are like, well, yeah.
Or we have to come up with an alternative to the Supreme Court.
True.
Shut up, Keith.
Those are fringe people. Let's go to, one of the renowned voices that anchors a prominent show.
This is BS. You are doing this as a dilatory tactic to help your political friend, your partisan patron. And for you to say that this is something that the court needs to decide because it's something that's unclear in the law is just flagrant bullpucky. And they know it, and they don't care that we know it, and that's disturbing about the future legitimacy of the court.
They're not okay.
The Supreme Court just chose to take up the case.
Yeah.
They haven't ruled on it.
You know why they're mad? Is because
they were trying to do it before the election.
They're not going to hear the court case until April, and then it's going to be even longer before it even comes out, before they can even get the case on the court. And I think that they're looking at this as like, this is our best chance to get a federal conviction of Donald Trump beforehand, and these people are just getting in the way with their justice and availing themselves of the law.
They're just trying to defend democracy.
These people are psycho. They've lost their minds. They're not, I jokingly say they're not okay, but they're not okay.
No.
Keith Olbermann is not stable.
No, I did not expect to hear, because there's lots more than this. I mean, I was referencing some guy, I don't even know who he was on MSNBC. MSNBC and the like were going nuts about this. Of all the things, I mean, what was it about this one that they just couldn't handle? It was like the straw broke the camel's back because the Supreme Court took the case.
Because this was the case that they had the judge, they had the jury that they would get, and it didn't really matter as much about the facts of the case. This was the January 6th case. This was everything. This was all their thing, and they wanted that on air. They wanted that trial happening during the election season so that they could do it. And the Supreme Court saying, no, we'll take a look at this, and doing it in April, pushed it all back and just snatched it all away from them.
The immunity case and the Jack Smith trials are around the idea that Donald Trump defrauded the United States due to and in light of the January 6th events, and tried to overthrow the country, essentially. I really find it difficult to connect the dots on a sensible, cerebral level. If I were on the left and I saw, wow, they were able to get this charge this far, like they're going to have to prove this in court. Donald Trump's going to have to defend himself. And Donald Trump was president of the United States when January 6th happened. And he tried to use the constitutional provisions in every which way that he could. And, I'm not really afraid to say this, bend the Constitution to allow him the opportunity to challenge the election. And I mean, that's really what any court case is. You're trying to prove that what I did was legal. And this is why we thought it was legal. And then somebody else comes in and says, that's absolutely not legal. And maybe even more so, you knew what you were doing and then you have somebody who judges who is correct on the matter. The idea that, and this is what the traffic court judge in the state of Illinois decided to throw Trump off the ballot because he's an insurrectionist. He's never been charged with insurrection. He certainly has never been found guilty of a charge that he was never levied with. But they did impeach him over the idea that he incited an insurrection, and the Senate didn't convict him on it. So he actually kind of has gone on trial for this and been found not guilty of this very thing that he actually has never criminally been charged with, nor found guilty. And the Supreme Court is now going to determine whether or not the criminal court system can levy this against him. They're just going to weigh in on it. This is the most constitutional-based process you could have for this, because at the end of the day, the Supreme Court is going to weigh in, taking the information that we have, the circumstances that we have, applying the Constitution to it to figure out how everything shakes out to determine whether or not the president has presidential immunity in this particular case, which might still result in him being tried for it. We don't know yet. Their premise, especially Olbermann's deplorable premise, is that the Supreme Court is corrupt and that they should rot in hell. It's not just enough for him to say, we need to elect a Democrat president, because if one of these Supreme Court justices decides to step down, we need to make sure that we put some Joe Biden justices on there and not any more of these Donald Trump justices, so on and so forth. No, he takes it a lot. It takes it to a psychotically unhealthy, angry, unhinged place that when you see it and you hear it, it doesn't even matter if you're not in the presence of Keith Olbermann. You kind of want to step back. You're like, this guy, I don't know this guy.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of when he started saying that was, dude, I'm a little worried about your understanding of what hell is and how you get there. But also, it's like they're forgetting that the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court were truly acting as Trump surrogates, which is what they're saying, they could have taken this case later. So the ruling's going to come out in June. They could have done it in October.
It could come out earlier than that.
Well,
that's
the latest.
June 30th is the last that it can come out.
But they could have done it in October. So they could have done it even later if they really were trying to just delay. So there's a lot about this.
They could have also, Jack Smith could have also brought the case sooner.
Yes.
That you want to talk about a timeline that's convenient and inconvenient. Do you remember when January 6th was? It was 2021, folks. It wasn't a problem. You weren't thinking Donald Trump was dangerous until you decided you didn't want him to win the election. It wasn't about whether he was even running so much, because if the country was not tempered to give him another shot, they wouldn't be doing this either. They had to slip this in the door just at the right time, early enough so it could get done before the election, but not late enough so that, God forbid, Donald Trump wins the election, he can pardon himself for all of this. Every single mental breakdown that I see, and I see them daily, that fit into this category, makes me think that Donald Trump is going to win the next election. And I'm always countering that with how much lack of faith I have in what the apparatus that the Democrats have established, and early voting and ballot harvesting that the Republicans need to get their acts together and start doing themselves. If it is legal, we do it, and we do it harder and better than the Democrats have done it before. Get on it. And then if you want to change the laws, you got to win the elections first. Win and fight on the battleground as it is determined, and then take the fight to the right place. But these people, if they weren't worried that Donald Trump was going to win again, you would not see this. And they are in lockstep, in mental collapse over the prospect that Donald Trump is going to win in November. And if they want to lose their minds in this disgusting fashion, the way Keith Olbermann is talking about Amy Coney Barrett, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was gross.
You don't get to be a Republican and call Ketanji Jackson Brown a whore on the air like that and get away with it. You do not do that. And you shouldn't get away with it because it's disgusting, Keith Olbermann, but you, in fact, are a disgusting individual. So I'm not really surprised. They are big mad that Donald Trump could win. And we're going to be covering this all the way across the finish line, 249 days from today. And they lost it in 2016. And that was because what they lost was the idea of the Hillary presidency. Mm-hmm. The glass ceiling would remain intact. Hillary was not going to be the president. And Donald Trump, are you kidding me? Who's this guy? Well, now they know. And now he is their Satan. Big government, what they are building through their party's win and victory, that's what they worship at. That's their religion. And their Satan is Donald Trump. And if for whatever reason Donald Trump pulls out a victory in November, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, if I've learned one thing from those clips you just played, it's that if things continue to look good for Trump over the next 5-6 months, we're going to hear a lot of that.
Yeah, there's going to be some very, very, very crazy statements that are there. Try to not get sucked into them. Try to not get wrapped up into them and stay grounded. It's going to help us all out. When we come back, we're going to have St. Jude Children's Hospital is going to be in here, and Children's Foundation, I should say, and we're going to help raise them some money and play X's and O's. We'll be right back.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jewels on Hampton.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-217-1155. That's 800-217-1155. 800-217-1155.
When someone hears the words, "You have cancer," it's one of the darkest moments in their life. Light the Night brings light to the darkness of cancer by uniting survivors, patients, and supporters in the cause to end cancer. Friends, families, and coworkers form a community of hope, raising funds in support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Together, we walk with lanterns held high to light the path to cures. Last year alone, the FDA approved 18 new drug therapies and treatments to treat blood cancers. The impact of LLS-supported research goes beyond blood cancer. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. When we walk, cancer runs. Join the movement to end cancer today. Visit us at lightthenight.org.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. will airdrop aid to Gaza. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden just announcing it a day after a deadly encounter between Israeli troops and Palestinians rushing an aid convoy in Gaza City.
We're going to insist that Israel facilitate more trucks and more routes to get more and more people the help they need. No excuses, because the truth is, aid flowing to Gaza is nowhere nearly enough.
The president speaking during a White House meeting with the Italian prime minister, also focusing in part on continued support for Ukraine. Health officials in Gaza say yesterday's incident killed more than 100 Palestinians and left hundreds more injured. There are conflicting accounts of the chaotic scene. Israel says its soldiers opened fire only when feeling threatened, and that most of the casualties involved the trucks and a stampede. Former President Trump is in court in Florida for a hearing in his classified documents case. The federal judge is expected to consider a later trial date and could wait for a ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court, which hears arguments next month on the former president's immunity claims. Just getting word that a co-defendant in the bribery case against New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez made a deal with prosecutors.
New Jersey businessman Jose Uribe pleading guilty in federal court to conspiracy to commit bribery, wire fraud, tax evasion, and obstructing justice. Prosecutors say Uribe gave Senator Menendez's wife a Mercedes-Benz in exchange for the senator's influence in an insurance fraud case. Uribe could face up to 95 years in federal prison, but he could win leniency by cooperating with prosecutors and possibly testifying against Senator Menendez and his wife at trial. They have pled not guilty to charges of accepting bribes, including cash and gold bars, for the senator's use of his influence to impact foreign policy with Egypt.
Fox's Jack Callahan. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our southern system is long gone. We've got partly sunny skies for this afternoon, though it's a little bit chilly. 49 for the high. Tonight, mostly clear, 35. But no chilly for the weekend. It's all about springtime. Saturday will be kind of cold first thing in the morning, but sunny skies Saturday and 69 degrees, 52 Saturday night, and Sunday sunny and up to 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Fry Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitch. You know what? Just type in Annie Fry Show live stream. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Left up, left right, gotta love this American ride.
Like, you need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Yeah, it is. That's the Annie Fry Show, and that's Brian Wiggins really taking our intro to the next level. And I don't always need to explain that, but when we have someone like Linda in here, who is an area developer here with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, I feel, Ryan, like we need to explain you. How'd that
we
feel?
do this when we have guests in more often than not. I don't know why we chose this moment to do that, because then it makes us look kind of stupid, right, Linda?
No. But I just looked over there, and Ryan was like averting his face away from Linda while that intro was playing, and it looked like shame, but you shouldn't have shame. I love that intro.
I was kind of embarrassed to be enjoying it again. It was like an old movie you haven't seen for a while.
Every week at Friday at 2:00. So, Linda, we appreciate you being in here. We've got Charles, VP of Sales here at Odyssey St. Louis, to play you an X's and O's. But first, let's get to the important business. Linda, you are the Missouri Area Development Advisor at St. Jude's. We did this last year. We had great success getting the 97.1 audience behind what you're doing at our sister station over there at WFUN 96.3.
Yes.
Linda, tell us about St. Jude.
So St. Jude is a children's research hospital. So St. Jude take care of the most critical children as they're battling cancer, leukemia, sickle cell. They have researchers there that actually come up with ways to cure all those diseases. And of course, us in Missouri, we're ALSAC St. Jude. So ALSAC stands for American Lebanese Syrian Associated Charities. We are the fundraising and awareness organization for St. Jude. So by us going out bringing awareness and raising funds, like today with the Radiothon the past 2 days, is to ensure that our children are being taken care of, that the families have no worries when they go to Memphis, because the hospital's in Memphis, that transportation, housing, food, everything is taken care of. The parents goes to focus on their child to get better.
Yeah, it's such an amazing mission. And I have it's written down here, and I want to correct me if I am articulating this the wrong way, but they can just text a word to a number to get connected to donate.
Yes, to donate. We came up with the simple way because we know everyone loved to text. So it's text STLCARES STL cares to 626-262. That's the simple way to just get it, and you're going to get a link and you can donate right there. And what we're looking for is new partners in hope. And those are the individuals that give monthly, starting off at $19 a month or more. And you receive this awesome T-shirt and hoodie. But that goes to help the hospital continue taking care of our children, continue with the research, continue with charities.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda, for that, because if your child is suffering or needing that extra medical attention and the amount of worry that is on your heart when that is taking place, compounded with financial obligations, it's unimaginable. And you get to bless a family when you text STL Cares to 626262. STL Cares, text it right now. Before we get into X's and O's, just text STL Cares to 626262. And let's raise some money and help. I think D to the C is kind of manning the ship over at 96.3. Yes. So we love D to the C. He's on our show from time to time, and we want to support him and what they are doing, lifting up at our sister station at 96.3. 97.1 has some of the best folks out there listening to the station. And I know you always have these heart opportunities and you want to give. So STL Cares 626262. We appreciate you being in here, Linda.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm ready to play.
All right, let's go. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into.
I sure don't.
Linda doesn't deserve this.
Now
right?
you know.
Now you know, right?
You didn't before, now you know. This
All
is
right.
dramatic. A lot on the line, too. A lot of ego on the line, in fact.
Yours?
Yeah, mine, yeah. If this goes poorly, I'm going to blame you. So, Charles and Linda. So, Charles, you've won before.
Yeah.
You've played. Linda, this is your first time. So
Yes.
what you're looking at here is a tic-tac-toe board. All the squares numbered through 1 through 9. Each one of those squares has a corresponding question to it that's based on some sort of current event from this week. So it could be any number of categories: sports, politics. We talk a lot of politics, movies, pop culture stuff. It could be really anything from the week. But then you pick the square, and then you pick one of our experts in the room, and that would be Annie.
Just in case it's not obvious.
To your left. Brad, who's paying full attention right now.
Yeah.
And Leah. So you'll pick one of them to answer the question for you. You simply agree or disagree with their answer for the square.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to go first. So which square do you want to start the game?
Number 5.
Number 5, right in the middle. And who is going to be your expert, Annie, Brad, or Leah?
I'm going to go with Leah.
Ooh.
Leah, here we go. It's a
She's
sports
wearing the
question.
shirt. She's wearing the "This Shirt Saves Lives" shirt.
All right, here is your question, Leah. Caitlin Clark of Iowa is an NCAA celebrity at the moment, and for good cause. She's about to break the NCAA basketball scoring record, which is currently held by who?
What a deep cut.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I knew who you were talking about, and I'm like, okay. No, I was like, I have no idea.
I could see her face.
I can't see her face. And I don't know any women basketball players
Well,
to even give a name.
I'll give you this hint. It's not a woman. It's a man who currently owns the record.
NBA scoring time.
No,
NCAA.
The whole thing. I was thinking
NCAA.
just for women. Oh,
No.
She'd already done that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's why I was confused.
I still don't know the answer, so I just throw Michael Jordan out there.
Okay. Michael Jordan, disagree or agree?
I agree because I was thinking the same thing.
Michael Jordan. That is not a bad guess. It is unfortunately not correct.
How many
though.
years did he play at North Carolina?
I don't know. Brad, do you know?
Are you a basketball guy, Charles?
Yeah.
You're an NCAA guy too. I
Three
know.
or four.
I would say 3.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot for
Yeah.
MJ.
Yeah. No, the correct answer. Anybody know it?
I'm going to guess Steph Curry.
It's Pistol Pete Maravich.
Oh, yeah.
Pistol
And
Pete.
That's the guy who the NBA logo's after.
And people
That's
have been talking about him all
No,
week,
that's
so I
Jerry
thought
West.
maybe you would
Not
pick
us,
that up.
Brian.
Yeah.
Not us.
Consider your audience.
Well,
Don't
that's
you
why
know
it's
that
the
if it doesn't
center
happen
square.
here, we don't know about it?
Here's my problem.
Yeah.
I share an office with Mark Cox, who has been talking about it incessantly.
Huge girls basketball fan.
Yeah.
So, I thought maybe that would have bled over. So, okay.
I learned that today.
All
That's
right,
good.
so I guess we'll do whichever one you want to be. Charles, O's,
Charles,
or...
X's or O's?
I'll be X's.
Okay,
Okay,
then
so
you
you
get
get
the
5.
center square.
Oh, man. Thank you.
You're welcome, Charles.
Pistol
You
Pete.
are so welcome.
I'll remain undefeated.
Man, it's a big assumption after one square.
Let's
But
have
okay.
a take a time.
Well, so far, I
If you're
want to
feeling
soak in it.
For
you know?
Linda right now, you
Yeah.
can text STL Cares
Yes.
to
If anybody feels sorry for me.
626262 and make a donation in light of square number 5.
There you go.
Charles, the VP of Sales.
There you go.
Charles, your turn.
I am going to go with Annie.
Okay, which square do you want?
I'm going to do square 4.
4, okay.
Middle left.
Number 4. Annie, your favorite kind of question. It's a music-based question.
Awesome.
Classic rock.
Oh,
He writes these hoping I get them.
I do.
I hope
I
you
do.
know something about classic rock, Charles. I don't.
Maybe I will.
Phone a friend. Don Henley was in court this week discussing some sordid moments from his past, but also addressing the ownership of some lost lyric sheets with the Eagles Hotel California.
Crap, I was going to say the Eagles.
Okay, here's a clip of the song.
And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast.
In that clip of Hotel California, which other popular 70s artist is Henley referencing?
Did you hate trivia night this past weekend? Did I do so terrible that you wanted to take this out on me?
I'll even tell you the lyric. It's with the knives part.
Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna agree.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. What are you doing?
Well, good choice, Charles. That's correct. That was incorrect.
Steely Dan?
Steely Dan is correct. Wow, good job. Yeah, Steely Knives is a reference to Steely Dan.
I didn't know that was
number 4 is
referencing,
mine, right?
Number 4 is yours.
Yeah. You got an X. So Linda's turn.
Okay,
Ooh,
Linda.
Which question or which
You know
square?
I'm going with number 6.
Yes.
Middle right for the block.
All right.
Okay.
Come on, Brad. Get me on the board, Brad.
Okay. Okay.
STL cares to 626262.
Somebody care for me.
That's right.
That's how we're gonna.
It's for the children.
That's how we all win.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
just Charles.
That's right.
All right. So Brad and Linda, you both have stumbled into. So this is a real clip from the week run through artificial intelligence. So the quote is real, but it won't sound like the person saying it. Brad, you have to tell me who said this.
We have this man negotiating nuclear weapons with Putin and President Xi, and he has no idea what's going on.
Oh, no. That was Pistol Pete Maravich.
Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
That's correct. Here's who said that this week.
We have this man negotiating nuclear weapons with Putin and with President Xi, and he has no idea what's going on.
There we go. That was Donald Trump who said that this week. All right, so for the block, Linda has an O. So no tic-tac-toe yet.
That's a nice block.
Nice block.
I like it.
Charles?
I will go with square 2 and Leah. Take me home.
Okay.
All right, Leah.
Yeah.
It's your favorite. The Michigan primary was on Tuesday, and for both parties, their frontrunners took the delegates, being Biden and Trump. However, second place was a little strange in the Michigan primary. On the Republican side, it was Nikki Haley, and on the Democrat side, it was uncommitted. Who got more votes total, Nikki Haley or uncommitted?
Uncommitted.
I'm gonna agree,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
but I'm gonna agree
Yeah.
because I feel like I've heard that.
I would believe that.
Yeah, I would believe that. too.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, number 2 goes to Linda.
Oh,
Nikki
all right.
Haley did get more votes than uncommitted. Yeah.
2.
Okay, so we got a real game now.
All right.
We got a real game.
All right.
All right, Linda, you pick your next square.
So I'm going to go with 3 and Annie.
Okay. Ooh, I
Okay.
like that choice.
Number 3. Annie, you have again stumbled into AI sound. This is a real clip from the week run through AI software.
Okay.
So you have to simply tell me who said this.
After long, hard consideration, your mother and I have decided to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida.
Rocky Balboa.
Ooh, Rocky
Sylvester
Balboa.
Stallone. Isn't he Rocky?
Mm-hmm. Sylvester Stallone
Okay.
is Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been bad if he wasn't.
Thanks, Leah. Appreciate that. Extra vote of confidence.
Agree
Sylvester Stallone.
or disagree?
Disagree?
Disagree. You locking that in?
Yes.
Here's who really said it.
After long, hard consideration, my brother and I have decided it's time to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida. We're going to sell this house.
What?
That is indeed Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, darn.
So X gets the square.
Where was
Three.
that?
That was number 3.
Oh, Lord.
I'm in position, aren't I?
Yeah, you're in
Still no
position.
tic-tac-toes, though.
All right, let's take a quick break here because depending on where Charles chooses to go next, we might have a tic-tac-toe on the board. So stick around. You're listening to X's and O's with our new best friend, Linda, who is here with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital right down the hallway on WFUN 96.3. D2C is helping with a radiothon to raise money for these families who have children who need our help. And I always want to challenge you when you see a need to step in. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. You can do it. Do it yourself. Do it to the extent with which you are capable of doing. Not more, not less. Text STL Cares to 626262. STL Cares to 626262. You can also go online to stjude.org/radio/WFUN. We'll wrap up the game of X's and O's with Charles and Linda when we come back. Don't go away.
Well, we rushed it, moving way too fast, and we crushed it, but it's in the past. We can make
This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
So say.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
Spring training is here, and it's almost time to embrace the essence of summer and let the soothing tones of Cardinals baseball transport you to warm, sun-soaked days. With the free Odyssey app, relive the joy of tuning in with your transistor radio, now seamlessly connecting you to every St. Louis Cardinals game on KMOX. Wherever your summer takes you, make sure to download the Odyssey app today and savor the sounds of Cardinals baseball. That's AUDACY, redefining your summer soundtrack. Live games available for fans and market only.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. We got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special, and how we can match their price. Great stuff. Yeah.
Great. And we have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll absolutely guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight from the mine. We have cutters and Hey, what the
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationships with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We are happy that it's Friday, but even more happy that we are being presented with an opportunity to help people. And when you do something like this, it makes your day, your weekend feel better each time you remember it. We are doing X's and O's as we traditionally do, but we have Linda here from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And if you text STL Cares to the number 626262 right now, you can become a donor and help these children who are facing medical situations and their families who are facing the reality that their children are having a medical situation along with the financial obligations. You can bless that family. And it is so important to step in and be a blessing for people when you find the opportunity to do that. You can become a monthly donor and pledge just $19 a month, and it helps kids at St. Jude fight cancer. I don't really know what else there is to say other than that. Maybe just one more time, text STL Cares to the number 626262. Linda, you are working with our friends over at our sister station at WFUN. D to the C.
Yep.
How long has this been going on? Is it all week that you've been here?
Just yesterday, Thursday, and today. So it's usually a 2-day event. From 9 to 7.
Yeah.
At night. So yes.
And it's been going all right so far.
It's going well. You know, today started a little slow, but it's picking up. So I think as more and more station are talking about it, sharing on social media, is starting to happen.
Well, we want to do our part on 97.1 and get this moving and make sure that they get across their goals. So please consider partnering with us here on 97.1, who are partnering with our sister station at 96.3 to help these kids at St. Jude's. You can text STL Cares to 626262 and make your donation. Whatever you have to give will be gratefully accepted. All right, back to the competition of X's and O's. Ryan?
All right. When we last met, Linda and Charles, they were embroiled in battle, and we are picking right back up where we left off. But Charles has an opportunity here, so it depends on what you want to do, Charles. Do you want to? What are we going to do? I'm just going to leave it open and say which square are you going for?
I am going to go with square 9.
Square 9. Okay. I got to tell you, as I've been reading through these questions, I'm realizing it's kind of a hard week.
Yeah. This has been a super
I didn't
hard
think
week.
that when I was writing them, but as I'm reading them, I'm going, actually, it kind of is. All right, who's your expert, Charles?
Brad.
Okay.
Brad, this celebrity, sadly, said his daughters don't really talk to him, even after he cast them in some of his movies. One of them is even in his latest dramatic movie, Spaceman. Though the 57-year-old former SNL star usually plays comedic roles, his very first movie is an ocean vessel comedy called Going Overboard. Who is it?
Oh, man. 57-year-old.
Brand new movie's going to be called Spaceman. 57-year-old. Normally does comedic roles, but this one's dramatic.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Charles?
Incorrect.
Incorrect. That is correct.
Adam Sandler.
It is Adam Sandler.
And that's the story because of Taylor Swift.
Wait, explain.
He was talking about how his daughters don't talk to him much. He was asked on a late night show, maybe.
Okay.
This is a stupid article I wrote at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I read. I did not write it. He was talking about how Taylor Swift is one of the only celebrities that gets him like nervous because his daughters don't really talk to him that much, but he knows how much Taylor Swift means to them. So he doesn't want to screw it up for his daughters. Did you hear that part of the story?
Now that you say it,
Yeah.
I think I did, yeah. I just blocked it out.
I knew that from that article I read, but I didn't know any of the other information in that question.
Oh, really?
So I learned something about that too today.
So there you go.
That and Pistol Pete.
Linda,
Yes.
back to you.
Yes.
Where do you want to go?
I'm doing 7.
Okay.
For the block.
For a block. Yeah, okay. All right, number
I'm going
7.
with Leah. Back to Leah.
Okay.
Leah, you have one of our audio whoopies. All right, this is Joe Scarborough.
This is a very serious program.
I love it.
This is Joe Scarborough from MSNBC's Morning Joe talking about the dueling presidential visits to the border yesterday.
He can't complete a sentence. He can't complete a thought.
Which president is he referring to?
Biden.
Okay.
Who was that speaking?
Joe Scarborough from MSNBC's Morning Joe. Which president is he speaking about? Excuse me. You said Biden?
Agree or disagree?
Agree or disagree?
I agree.
I feel like it's a trick question.
Yeah, I do too.
Wait.
I agree, but I agree.
You do agree?
Yeah.
You think it's Joe Biden, too? You're thinking that's the right answer.
Yes.
Okay. He was speaking about Trump, in fact. There. Just play it again really quick.
He can't complete a sentence. He can't complete a thought.
Yep, that is Scarborough talking about Trump.
Yeah, because when you said visit the border, I'm like, Trump haven't been to the border yet, not that I know of.
They were both there yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, yeah. See, I let you win.
Oh, was that 1 or that was 7?
That was that was good logic. If he hadn't, though, I mean, that would have told you.
Yeah.
All right, so we are back to Charles now, who has a tic-tac-toe and is looking to lock things down.
All right. Annie?
Yeah, 1 or 8? Which one?
I'm going to go with 1. I want a double tic-tac-toe.
You want a double whammy.
Annie, you got our other audio whoopee.
Okay.
Whoopee. All right, in Wiggins America yesterday, I played some.
Oh, no. Nobody listens to that.
I know. Listenership drops dramatically at 12:45. But I played some audio from Jimmy Fallon and referenced this one.
After nearly 2 decades as the Republican leader of the Senate, McConnell is stepping down. McConnell just turned. That can only mean one thing. He's running for president. And that's all.
All right. How old is Mitch McConnell?
82.
82. Agree or disagree?
You said that with confidence.
That's because I'm pretty sure.
But you're also winning, and she likes to, throw things around.
I don't ever do that. That's baloney.
You're right. That never happens.
I really do. If I were taking a test, I'd write down 82 on my own test.
I am going
There are also a lot of other numbers.
You know what?
A listener's saying 90.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay. Charles is disagreeing. Here is the answer.
After nearly 2 decades as the Republican leader of the Senate, McConnell is stepping down. McConnell just turned 82, so that can only mean one thing. He's running for president.
Man.
Yes!
You no doubt the Annie.
There's your O.
Oh.
My bad. I won't do it again. I won't do it again.
Man, that cost you 2. That cost you 2 tic-tac-toes.
He might seem a lot older than 82 to some people, right? The logic there is real.
Well, Linda, we are down to the last square, so I think I know where you want to go.
For the block.
And the only
I'm
person
just gonna
left
go to 8.
on the board is me.
Is
Yes,
Brad.
Brad.
Okay. Well, you guys saved both of the Mitch McConnell questions for the very end, so congratulations on
It's
that.
a happy Mitch week.
It is. It's just been a happy Mitch week. Okay, Brad, as the longest-serving leader in Senate history, Mitch McConnell is leaving leadership in November with a distinguished congressional career. But in what decade did McConnell first get elected to the U.S. Senate?
Oh, what decade? 1980s. The 1980s.
1980s. Linda, for the final square.
My gosh, the 80s.
Eagle Ranger says 1950.
I love the 80s.
I disagree.
Disagree. You should have trusted Brad. He was right.
Is it 81?
It was
82?
86.
Oh. 86.
It was
Wow.
86.
Okay.
Yeah, he had been in politics before that, but 86 is when he entered the Senate. So,
Okay.
Charles, there you go.
There you go,
got the
Charles.
last
All right.
square.
Did I
Look at all those X's.
1,
Did I
2.
Did I do
You
that?
did that, Charles. Awesome.
Do you want us to confirm that yes, you won? Yes, great
1,
job, Charles.
2, yes, but Linda, you did a great job,
Yes.
and you're
Yes, I
doing a wonderful job here at Odyssey St. Louis, helping bring St. Jude, the opportunity to help St. Jude to the St. Louis listeners. Odyssey touches so many people across the St. Louis metro region, and we're really, really counting on us all putting our hands in the middle. You can text STL Cares to 626262. Linda, before we let you go, just talk a little bit about the monies that come in if they text STL Cares to 626262. what's the process? That money goes to that donation link. It gets sent off. Who's helped by that?
The children, the families of St. Jude, researchers, because all that plays into keeping St. Jude going. We need our researchers to keep finding ways to fight cancer, sickle cell, leukemia, HIV, and give a peace of mind to the parents.
Yeah, amen to that. Well, please join us on 97.1 in supporting D to the C and 96.3 over there at WFUN, our sister station, in something that is a really, really great cause. And we're grateful to have you in here, Linda, to spread some awareness about it. Go to St. Jude, that's stjude.org/radio/WFUN, or text STL Cares to 626262. Linda, such a pleasure to have you in here.
Thank you all so much. I had fun playing Answer to Know.
Charles, congratulations, 2-0, man.
Thank you,
Charles,
Linda. It was fun. I appreciate
too.
a formidable
You
opponent.
know who not put on your trivia team, right?
Sometimes you got to bring good snacks. Sometimes you got to know the answer. Sometimes you're in the middle.
I'm the snack person.
That's right. Everybody has a role. We appreciate you both. Let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the show here in just a minute. And that fish fry taking place for Mark Reardon. And where's it at this time?
I don't know.
We're going to get
Incarnate Word.
Incarnate Word, Leah, with the producer information. Thank you so much. Incarnate Word, go out there and support them as well and get some great fish. See the Mark Reardon Show out there. They're going to start broadcasting, of course, at 3 o'clock. But not till we're done here. And we'll be right back to do it. Don't go away.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or them levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
The Lifestyles Unlimited team of real estate investing mentors and educators want to meet you. Learn to retire in 5 years or less. In St. Louis, 2 days only, April 27th and 28th. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Promo code 2024.
St. Louis City players and coaches will walk the runway for a men's fashion show as part of Gent Men's Fashion Week, Sunday, February 18th, 3 p.m. at City Park. Tim Parker, Edvard Leuven, Joshua Yarrow, and others will showcase looks from the best menswear designers in the Midwest. Tickets are limited, so buy now at stlouisfashionfund.org. Odyssey celebrates St. Louis Fashion Fund's 10th anniversary as its media partner and congratulates them on a decade of advocating for the St. Louis fashion industry.
Stewart's American Mortgage. My friend Stewie. Have you called him or texted him yet? You can right now. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. He's going to get you fixed up. Now, the bagel loan is only at Stewart's American Mortgage. And using the bagel loan to get your mortgage, picking that loan for your mortgage, means when you go through that process, there are zero closing costs that you are going to have to pay. They don't get rolled into the loan. They don't get paid on the back end or anything. You don't have to pay them. They just don't exist for you. He also is very proud of how he does business in an old-fashioned way, so you're going to be able to rely on talking to the same people. You're going to get to know Stewart and his team that is going to help make this process as smooth as possible so that you can get that mortgage and get it done in a timely fashion. He can help you close in less than 2 weeks. That's incredible. He can also, once you're pre-approved, his website will help you generate your own pre-approval letter, so you don't have to wait on a third party and miss a big opportunity to get an offer submitted on time. Stewie is there to help you, guide you through your mortgage process, 314-324-4440. Google Bagel Loan to find out more information, NMLS number 226715.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
We've given ours. We want to hear yours. Have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? I have a feeling that the answer is more yeses than nos. We want to hear your stories, too. So let us know. We'll give you the results of the poll and probably share some of those stories here in just a couple minutes. It's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. Have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? 2:39 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. We got a fish fry broadcast coming up here this afternoon from Incarnate Word Parish in Chesterfield. Come see us. The roundtable starts live from Incarnate Word in just a matter of minutes.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
I got this target right here on my back. Aiming where I was, not where I'm at. They stopped me since I was 18. I'm moving faster than my enemy. I can't slow down, I can't get stuck. I'd rather die than have to hang it up. Don't wanna look up and it be over. No wish that.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. That was fun. X's and O's with
That was fun.
Linda from St. Jude and Charles, the VP of Sales here at 97.1 and Odyssey St. Louis. Nice little face off there. Those were some deep cut questions, though. When you have the lady in whose job it is to raise money for sick kids, and you're like, Pistol Pete.
Let's go back to the 50s for basketball-related trivia.
Yeah. In the Eagles song, what band were they referring to with the steel knives?
What is the 21st word in the fourth track of Hotel California? I don't know if that's an
You're
album.
just jealous because it was so fun.
It was fun. The case is still being heard right now. The closing arguments. Can you just put this on? Just see what the judge is talking right now. This is the Fonnie Willis trial.
Would be that's my recollection that he was asked to lead the prosecution. He was asked to he was asked to fill the position that Mr. Wade is currently in, which is the lead prosecutor. It was said in that way as well as it relates to the testimony of Mr. Barnes. So I think it would be very clear. My recollection is that he said lead, but what I can submit to the court that I know he also said that he was asked to fill the position that Mr. Wade is currently.
So this is boring. I don't want to listen to anymore of this.
Georgia, which is the lead prosecutor.
Is the idea that the judge? Can you turn this down? Is the idea that the judge is going to?
This is boring. Can we keep listening to it?
Yeah. Is going to rule soon, I think, right?
Why, this is the closing argument. So, yeah, the judge is going to decide whether Fannie Willis can even be on this case.
I know that. But
Yeah.
the timeline
Okay.
is going to be, we should be able to hear from this after these closing arguments,
As I understand it.
like maybe next week.
Wow. I don't know exactly what day he's going to say.
There's so much legal, there are so many legal challenges out right now that are so individually, dramatically impactful to what happens in November. It's really hard to, it's almost like they're all so big that none of them are that big.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are bored by it in the sense that you can at least in March, it's March 1st, you can at least right now go, no, I'm so sick of all this stuff, and you can put it away and not care about it. When do people start caring about it? I would say October.
You mean about the court cases themselves, like
no, just
this stuff? Or?
What the implication of it, the political implication of it.
I don't know, because I've said this before, these cases are tough to follow even if you're paying attention. So other than the documents case, that one is, he held documents that belong to the government longer than they should have or whatever. That one seems a little bit easier to grasp. The rest of these are very difficult to understand.
Well, they're novel legal theories.
That's exactly right. And that's a good point, because what you're dealing with is things that have never really been brought up legally before. They've never been tried. And so to get him under trial, they've had to really bend a lot of these rules. I mean, the New York one comes to mind specifically, of frauding no one to cost him $400 million.
Well, even the J6 one was fraud, defrauding the U.S. government.
But my point being that with all of these, I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying, Annie, with all of these going on simultaneously, they're trying to get out the bottleneck, and they're all just kind of stuck in the minds of Americans as one big thing that looks a lot like, because it is, political persecution. So I don't know that these are really breaking through other than that he is on trial. Generally, he is on trial by the system.
Well, that's really the element of my point, is that I don't think people care about any of this until October.
Yeah.
These details, I mean, I care about it. You likely care about it if you're listening to the station, so I'm not going to stop paying attention to it. But I just think that the percentage of voting public out there right now that is interested in Fani Willis is so incredibly small. But if you're paying attention, you know that it is incredibly impactful. What happens here is hugely involved with what happens next with Donald Trump. It is amazing. I mentioned this with Hans von Spakovsky in our conversation yesterday. It is amazing as these trials have developed, maybe save the fraud civil case in New York where he's got, $356 million or whatever that he's supposed to fork over. The Letitia James one where she keeps posting on Twitter the exact number that he owes. It's unbelievable. He's going to appeal that. It's still going to cost him a ton of money. He might win on appeal. I don't know. But he has not taken any huge losses, criminally or politically, because of the lawfare that they have posed up against him. He's actually kind of growing because of it. And I do believe that there are a lot of Americans who watch what's happening to him right now. They know that he's not being treated fairly. That doesn't mean people will be like, oh, you don't think he did anything wrong? It's like, no, you just think that everybody's kind of doing things wrong, but for some reason we're getting Trump and we're not getting everybody else out there. I think if you ask most Americans, they would say, yeah, go after Trump as hard as you can, but go after all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because these are your overlords. In a sense, these are the people who you elect to represent you, and then they go and they're there forever and they're getting wealthy out of representing you. You're like, where's my part in that?
Yeah, that speaks to a larger sentiment about, I think, people in general, but especially America. We just want things to be fair. And you brought this up the other day talking about Newsom with that carve out for Panera bread. I mean, that kind of stuff drives people crazy.
You don't have to do minimum wage if you bake bread.
Yeah. I'm going to pass a new minimum wage law that affects every fast food restaurant in California except for Panera, because they bake and sell bread and also they donate to my campaign. That kind of stuff is... It comes from the same cloth as this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You just want to, and I'm not saying that there is nothing wrong, but look into all of it, like you were just saying, because when we get to the point where justice is just for some, that is where Americans do actually begin to lose faith in the system. And that is an actual threat to democracy, because now you have everybody questioning whether, is the FBI even telling me the truth, when things come out about different cases.
People are questioning a lot of things.
Yes.
People are very curious about what they've been told, and people are challenging what they've been told on a big
You guys are discussing that you don't believe in.
Nah, I don't believe in space. I'm like, I'm religious, so I think we're in the wrong right now. I don't think there's other planets and stuff like that. I don't know.
What led you to that point to believe that?
I thought you should believe in the heliocentric thing, you get some power and stuff, but then
Well, that's so hard to hear. I'm not gonna play anymore. That is the NFL prospect Tyler Owens. He says he doesn't believe in space and planets and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's questioning everything.
What is real, man?
Man, to be back and being 18, 19, 20 years old.
Imagine being like, what is Saturn?
Yeah.
Even.
I've never been to Myrtle Beach. Maybe it's not real.
Yeah. And I just think that we're closing arguments in the Fani Willis trial and Nate Wade, and he said he couldn't recall if sometimes he lies to some of his possible clients, and maybe he did and maybe he didn't. He doesn't know. And we were getting wrapped up in it. And then this guy's like, but I don't believe in space.
I don't believe in space. I don't believe in planets and stuff.
I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm done.
You know what, though? I'm a fan of that because that means he's just asking questions. Maybe next year he comes to the conclusion
not
there is
asking enough questions.
I just like that he's putting the whole system on trial.
Is there such thing as a dumb question?
Yes.
It is a wild ride. Our YouTube live chat poll question for today is, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? I don't know if you guys have any more that you wanted to talk about with what we discussed before. Ryan talked about his cystic fibrosis. Leah talked about her epilepsy and seizures. Brad has had heart attacks. I was in a bad car accident in 1997. I would definitely say it was a life-threatening situation. I had a gun pointed directly at my face.
I thought you'd tell that
But
story.
I was coming to work. It was a Tuesday morning. We had a sales meeting when we worked over at Union Station, and the traffic was backed up. And I was trying to get into work on time, get in a little bit early so I could get my stuff settled before I go to the sales meeting. And I was driving fast, and this other guy was driving faster, and he whipped it out around me. And then he was in the right lane, and I was in the left lane. He went by me. But he passed me in the right. I was going fast in the left lane. He passed me in the right lane. So I was not going fast enough for him. And I know slow left lane drivers, that ain't me. That's not what I was doing. And he stared at me when he was zooming past me or whatever. And then we got onto the Stan Musial Bridge to get into downtown. And we hadn't gotten to the place where 70 splits off to the right and you go downtown, you go left. And there's traffic backup. And so our car, still in 2 lanes going westbound over the bridge, had to come to a complete stop. And he was in his car. He was going to get on the 70. He did go on 70, and I was going downtown. He pulled up next to me, and he rolled his window down, and he picked a gun up out of his car, and he pointed it right at my face. And I was in standstill traffic on the bridge. There was nowhere to drive. There was nothing to do. And I just was looking down the barrel of a gun. That gun was probably loaded. And
what did you do?
Sat there and looked at it.
There's
nothing I could do.
Were you numb?
Yes. That feeling you get 60 seconds after you avoid a really bad car accident happened immediately, which I'm sure was adrenaline. I went to the sales meeting and sat in the sales meeting, and it was like I was in my own space. And then after that, I remember going into, I think Trisha's not here. She might be listening right now because she's, I think, out at the fish fry. But I feel like I went and talked. I went to the studio because Trisha was there. My old producer Katie was there. Some other people who I would talk to closely. And I broke down after the sales meeting, and I just went into this back production room and started to cry. And I think it was Trisha that I had told, this is what just happened. She's like, oh my gosh. Because I was embarrassed that I was traumatized by it.
Really? Seems like now you'd say, why was I embarrassed by that?
Well, now what I would say is if the roles had been reversed and this had happened to Trisha and she was crying about it, I would just hug her. There'd be no judgment, but this is a crack open the mind of Annie, conceal, don't feel. And you have a gun pointed at you. I was probably 15 feet from a gun pointed directly at my face, and there was nowhere to go. There was no shoulder. I was on a bridge. It was standstill traffic. I would have gone on the shoulder and driven in a median and gotten away if I could have, but there was nowhere to go.
What did he just put it down? Did he just?
The cars ended up moving. He laughed at me and he kept driving.
Wow. The only other story I have, it wasn't life-threatening to me, but somebody did die in this situation. I was a senior in high school. And I've it's funny because I'll give away how long I've been friends with Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry. He was driving the car, and I was in the back seat, and he was in the front seat driving with a couple of girlfriends of ours. We weren't girlfriends, or they were our girlfriends, but a girl was in the back seat next to me, girl in the front seat next to him. We're driving. Hey,
we're telling a story about death. I will be respectful.
Yes. So we come to an intersection. And we never really found out if it was a drunk driver or why this guy did this. But he was in a car, and we had the green light, and he didn't have a green arrow. So he just turned right in front of the car. Well, we were in an SUV, and he was in a car, and it destroyed his car.
So you had a wreck.
We had a massive wreck. I apparently looked terrible because I got a little cut under my eye, but I had blood all over me. I was really fine. And really everybody in our car was fine. We had some bruises from where the seatbelts were.
On your hips.
And that's really it. Ty, though, had gripped the steering wheel so hard that he couldn't really move his hands for a couple days because they were frozen. And the guy in the other car eventually died. So
that's sad.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy night.
Pond on our poll says a couple times in the service, and Jack Daniels tried a couple times on the bike. Clean and sober 14 years. So we're happy to hear that for you, Pond. Lori says, yes, was taking a TTE test, and once the test was done, had a lousy headache. Was told by the doctor I was getting admitted, suddenly went out on them, and they came and rushed her to the ICU and put her a respirator in her. And Lori's with us every day. A lot of people sharing their stories. And, these are kind of like, in some ways, shape or form, heavy stories, but these should all be moments where you go, kind of an exhale, whew, like, now I've got something else to do with my life because you're still here. And if you didn't see at the beginning of the show today, in Louisville, they were covering the story on Fox News. There was a semi-truck who went over the side, and the semi was hanging over the side of the bridge, and they had to rappel down and get the semi-truck driver out of the cab and rappel him back up, and they did. So I'm looking forward to, after the show, going and kind of reading up a little bit more on that information.
Seeing what happened, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw just the very end of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of people have shared their stories today, and they're all very impactful. But if you have the opportunity to get past it and or something to grow with, then consider that a blessing, and consider that your heads up that you've got a purpose today, and you need to use that purpose to bless people. Maybe it's to St. Jude, maybe it's to somebody who you see and you just share a smile. One thing I've noticed, when you're walking through the store, if you make eye contact with somebody and you just share a happy smile, it makes me happier. But it like emanates. And if that person shares a smile, sounds very cliche and everything, but it's really true. And it is the easiest thing to do, is to just look at someone you're passing and just kind of give them a nice little head nod and smile. Our YouTube live chat poll for today: have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? All four of us had yeses to this. 72% of you also did, with about 200 votes in the poll today. We appreciate you being with us today. Check out the podcast. This week, we've had some really, really great things in the podcast. Be sure to subscribe on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Leah's putting together recap videos. I watched the one she did last week several times because it's pretty funny. You're never going to miss anything when you get connected to us on our socials, and we'll get you your Biden bingo card here pretty soon. Stick around. Mark Reardon at the Fish Fry Incarnate Word in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick, and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help